Chapter 479. Ningqing immediately entered the mysterious yellow bead and sealed the other exploding golden wasp's wasp king egg before throwing it into the miniature world ring. The mysterious yellow bead's origin was incomplete. Apart from himself, anything that stayed inside the mysterious yellow bead for a long time could be refined by the mysterious yellow bead and turn into nothingness. The Yu clan's ancestral hall remained silent. Everyone was waiting for the old man to announce the important matter worth celebrating. In addition to the anxiety in her heart, she also continued to search for various high-level materials for crafting talismans. Ink Essence Star. Everyone knew what it meant to control the refining of void-cleaving talismans in the Ink Essence Star. From the Void Battleship's monitoring screen, Ningqing calculated that the powerhouse would only need 20 breaths of time to catch up to him. This powerhouse could easily destroy a bunch of exploding golden wasps. If they wanted to deal with him, it would not take much effort. Ningqing's eyes looked at the Void Battleship's monitoring screen, but his mind was anxiously thinking of various countermeasures. After a few breaths, Ningqing stared at the Void Battleship's monitoring screen and made up his mind. In the face of such a powerhouse, he would rather enter the spatial collapse than fall into the hands of the other party. Ningqing tried to stimulate the twin wings of the heavenly clouds. He wanted to rush out of the canyon and see what was outside. He had just rushed out a few dozen miles when a powerful suction force pulled him back down to the bottom of the canyon. Yes. The boy responded and quickly left. This powerhouse did not expect that Ningqing would suddenly turn around and rush into the spatial collapse. It was simply courting death. She had already rushed to the edge of the Void Battleship, but she was not stupid enough to follow Ningqing into the spatial collapse. Uncle Master Yangji. The boy guarding outside the immortal cave saw the man in luxurious robes come out and quickly bowed to greet him. Today, I want to announce the most important and most worthy of celebration. The black-haired old man looked at the rest of the people, and finally could not help but speak with an excited tone. My Yu clan is the most powerful talisman crafting clan in the history of the Ink Essence Star. Many of our clan's powerhouses tore through the interface and entered the starry skies. But in the last 2,000 years, our Yu clan's top talisman crafting talents have withered. Not to mention a Tier 9 talisman crafting Grandmaster. Even a Tier 7 talisman crafting Grandmaster is as rare as a phoenix feather or a Qilin horn. It was just that the heaven-opening talisman was too precious. She had participated in countless auctions and sold almost everything she had, but she still couldn't get a single heaven-opening talisman. She hoped that one day, the Yu clan would be able to refine the heaven-opening talisman and give it to her. It was not that she did not think of using some means, but once she offended the Yu clan, it was tantamount to sealing off this road. But because of her urgent desire to return to Ningqing's side, she did not dare to offend the Yu clan's talisman master. As for solving the problem through killing, she didn't even think about it. At this time, Ningqing could only rejoice in his heart. Fortunately, he did not bring Ji Luofei and Yi Zhuzhu out with him. Otherwise, it would truly be courting death. Just when she felt incomparably angry, endless void explosive golden wasps swarmed over. These void explosive golden wasps completely ignored the void collapse and directly rushed towards the powerhouse blocking the entrance of the void collapse. This powerhouse secretly cursed at her bad luck. The void explosive golden wasps could do anything to find the wasp king egg, but she did not want to die. At this moment, she desperately wanted to escape from this entrance. Ningqing gave out a sigh, knowing that there was no use in being anxious. He took out the Nirvana spear and held it in his hand before moving forward along the curved path at the bottom of the valley. After half an incense stick worth of time, more than a dozen people sat in the Yu clan's ancestral hall. He did not care about anything else. What he cared about was Luofei worrying about him. Fortunately, he and Luofei had a heart knot, which was formed from each other's life essence. As long as he was safe and sound, Luofei would know about it. Therefore, Ningqing decided to stay inside the mysterious yellow bead, desperately wrapping his body with his spiritual consciousness. He did not know how long he would stay in this collapsed spatial space. If the small world were to melt, he would be left with nothing. The Ink Essence Star's laws were not perfect. However, it was not a broken world. Therefore, there was no heaven's way in the Ink Essence Star. After cultivating to a certain extent, as long as one wanted to leave the ink essence star, whether it was by relying on a void battleship or relying on one's own cultivation, one would have to rely on the void-cleaving talisman. Ning Cheng immediately came out of the mysterious yellow bead and found himself standing on a hard ground. In this place, his spiritual consciousness could not sweep out much further. Even a range of several dozen miles was the limit. His current position seemed to be at the bottom of a huge canyon, with rocky walls on both sides that even his spiritual consciousness could not reach. Moreover, he could not even see the end of the canyon. It reminded Ning Cheng of the original appearance of the Angry Axe Valley, which was also a long and narrow canyon. Haha. In the most luxurious immortal cave of the Yu clan, a burst of laughter emerged, followed by a middle-aged man wearing luxurious robes walking out of the immortal cave. Without finding her parents, Shi Qianghua did not want to stay in this place for another day. The only thing in her mind was to return to Ning Cheng's side as soon as possible. Speaking until here, the black-haired old man stood up and raised his hand before speaking. But today, my Yu clan once again produced a Tier 9 talisman refining ancestor. Yes, it is Nephew Yangji. Nephew Yangji can already refine Tier 9 void-cleaving talismans. After the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, apart from the entrance to the void collapse, there were no longer any exploding golden wasps. Sitting in the seat of honor was a black-haired old man. His eyes were filled with joy, as if he could not wait to announce something. In this way, Shi Qianghua continued to collect all kinds of precious materials and hand them over to the people of the Yu clan, just to help Yu Yangji practice and improve his attainments in talisman crafting. The black-haired old man's words stopped. He did not need to continue, as the entire ancestral hall had already erupted into discussions. All kinds of excited noises could be heard, along with all kinds of longing. He had already decided that if he could not get out of this place after walking for a few days, then he would forcibly fly out of this valley. At worst, he would have to take a break along the way. He did not believe that he could not leave this place. What worried Ning Cheng the most was, after leaving the bottom of this valley, where would he appear? Would it be the void near the rootless Black City? Or would it be a completely unfamiliar place? Shi Qianghua knew that this was not the way to go. However, if she wanted to leave this place, then besides looking for the Yu clan, she really had no other way. She was not a ruthless person. If replaced with Ning Cheng, she would have already gone to their door, or at least forced the other party to come up with a pile of spirit stones. A powerful suction force came from the collapse of the void. Even with her powerful cultivation, she could not help but rush into the collapse. In terms of cultivation, she was more than twice as powerful compared to Ning Cheng. In the face of this terrifying suction force from the void collapse, she could barely stabilize her figure. It was just that she could no longer hold on to the void battleship, as the void collapse had already swallowed it up without a trace. This was a continent where true cultivation and technology developed at the same pace. Relatively speaking, the development of technological civilization was much faster. She was Shi Qianghua. Since coming to the Qinwu city, she realized that Uncle Yu had lied to her for the first time. This was not the place where her parents lived at all. For her, this was a completely unfamiliar city. This city had two major aristocratic families. One was the Xian clan, and the other was the Yu clan. Unfortunately, she did not know how many materials she had given away. Not to mention the heaven-opening talisman, she could not even obtain an escape talisman. Every time she heard the Yu clan's reply, she would have to wait a little longer. Grandmaster Yu Yangji was still practicing, and should be able to refine the heaven-opening talisman soon. Only by using the void-cleaving talisman to tear open the ink essence star's interface could one enter the lowest level of the void and search for life within the starry skies. In desperation, she could only seek help from Yu clan's Yu Yangji. Yu Yangji's level was the closest talisman grandmaster to refining the heaven-opening talisman. She wanted to ask Yu Yangji to help her refine an heaven-opening talisman. At this time, Ning Cheng wanted to send out a flying messenger sword to tell Luofei that he was fine. However, he feared that his flying messenger sword would be intercepted by this powerhouse. Immediately informed the clan head, "I have important news to announce." This man in luxurious robes was the Yu clan's premier talisman refining grandmaster, Yu Yangji. At this time, he was in a very good mood. As soon as Ning Cheng entered the void collapse, he felt the void battleship disintegrating. Facing such a terrifying void tier, nothing could withstand it. The Yu clan was not only the premier talisman refining aristocratic family of the Ink Essence Star, but they also had a Tier 8 talisman grandmaster, Yu Yangji. The reason why this woman handed over these materials to the Yu clan was that she wanted to ask the Yu clan's Yu Yangji to help her refine a void-cleaving talisman, allowing her to return to the sifting orchid star. At the edge of the void collapse, she stopped and raised her hand to grab the void battleship. The surrounding space was also grayish, with extremely low visibility. Not only that, but the temperature here was also very high. Ning Cheng estimated that it was at least 40 to 50 degrees Celsius. If an ordinary person were here, it would not take long for them to roast to death. Above the canyon, in front of and behind them, was a grayish world. After hesitating for a moment, the powerhouse's face finally became clear. It was a female cultivator. Ning Cheng did not dare to delay for even half a moment. He struggled to control the void battleship and rushed into the void collapse. Ning Cheng could feel that this was not the effect of gravity. The gravity at the bottom of this valley was several times stronger than on Earth. However, this bit of gravity was not enough to restrain him. This was a natural flight restriction that prevented him from flying any higher. As for these materials and jade strips, she handed them over to the Qinwu City's Yu clan. The Ink Essence Star's Qinwu City was one of the few major cities in the Ink Essence Star. At this time, a white-robed woman with a veil over her face walked into the Qinwu City with melancholy eyes. She would leave the Qinwu City every day and go to the makeshift markets around the Qinwu City to post some information, and purchase a variety of talisman crafting materials, and some talisman crafting jade strips. However, it was already too late, and she had no choice but to go in. The endless void explosive golden wasps wrapped around her, and all of them fell into the boundless void collapse. Even so, the void explosive golden wasps that followed behind did not stop and rushed into the void collapse one after another. The mysterious yellow bead tumbled in the collapsed space, and Ning Cheng did not dare to release his spiritual consciousness. Not knowing for how long, Ning Cheng felt that the mysterious yellow bead seemed to have stopped. Only then did he release his spiritual consciousness. Only then did he discover that he was already safe and in a quiet place. Chapter 480. An excited atmosphere filled the entire ancestral hall. How many cultivators in Ink Essence Planet needed a void-cleaving talisman? One could imagine that in the future, every void-cleaving talisman of the Yu clan would be sold for a sky-high price. Countless cultivators would come to the Qinwu City to purchase void-cleaving talismans from the Yu clan. Just give that sure woman a void-breaking talisman and forget about it. A Yu clan elder suddenly spoke up. He knew that the reason why the Yu clan's Yu Yangji could become a Tier 9 talisman crafting grandmaster was because of this female cultivator. The most important thing was that the cultivation of this female cultivator called Shi Qianghua was simply too terrifying. Yu Yangji gave a faint smile and said in a calm voice, "The price of a void-cleaving talisman is sky-high in the Ink Essence Star. Moreover, what she wants is a void-cleaving talisman of a higher grade than the void-cleaving talisman. I still can't refine a void-cleaving talisman." Yu Yangji didn't continue, but everyone understood what he meant. The black-haired old man nodded and said, "Yangji is right. Every void-cleaving talisman is priceless. We can't just casually give it away. But that woman's cultivation is a little too high. Even in the Ink Origin Star, there aren't many existences that are stronger than her. What if?" Upon hearing the black-haired old man's words, the elder who had spoken earlier became increasingly worried. Yu Yangji sneered and spoke, "My Yu clan is the premier talisman crafting clan in the entire Ink Essence Star. Moreover, I've already advanced to the Tier 9 talisman grandmaster realm. Why would I fear a puny female cultivator like her? I heard that she has an ancient copper coin that is extremely powerful. This is the Treasurefall copper coin. I'm afraid that even if I sold my entire Yu clan, I still wouldn't be able to buy even a corner of this copper coin." The elder still wanted to say something, But the black-haired old man immediately slapped the table in front of him and said, "That female cultivator should be an outsider. What she wants the most right now is to leave the ink essence star. I agree with nephew Yangji's words to let that female cultivator come to my Yu clan. Regardless of whether she agrees or not, the copper coin of treasure fall must remain with my Yu clan. Yangji will use it in the future." When Yu Yangji heard what the black-haired elder said, he felt very satisfied. He had been coveting Shi Qianghua's copper coin of treasure fall for a long time. After he became a Tier 9 talisman grandmaster, he had refined a large number of offensive talismans with the sole purpose of dealing with Shi Qianghua. Even if the Yu clan did not support him, he still had to grab Shi Qianghua's copper coin. As long as he obtained that copper coin, he would have the capital to go to the void in the future. No matter the cost, he had to get the copper coins. When Shi Qianghua came to know that Yu Yangji had advanced to the Tier 9 talisman grandmaster, she did not feel much surprise in her heart. Instead, she was thinking about how to obtain a void-cleaving talisman from the Yu clan. Even if she couldn't get a space-cleaving talisman, she would at least get a void-cleaving talisman. As for continuing to look for materials for the Yu clan, she no longer wanted to do it. Even if she didn't have a space-breaking talisman, it was still the same for her. Shi Qianghua had just arrived at the Yu clan when she felt that something was wrong. She and Ning Cheng had been together for some time now, and was influenced by Ning Cheng, causing her to always have a bit of vigilance in her heart. So, she stood in the yard of the Yu family and did not go in. However, there was no need for her to go in, as dozens of cultivators had completely sealed off the Yu clan's courtyard at this moment. "Yu Yangji, I just want a void-cleaving talisman. Don't you think you're going too far?" Shi Qianghua spoke with a calm tone, without even half a shred of panic. "Haha." Yu Yangji laughed wildly. "Shi Qianghua, you want a void-cleaving talisman? You make it sound so simple. Do you know how many precious materials are needed to refine a void-cleaving talisman? Do you know how many spirit stones a void-cleaving talisman can sell for? You opened your mouth and asked for a void-cleaving talisman. Who is the one going too far?" Shi Qianghua's face turned pale with anger. The material she had given to the Yu clan over the years, not to mention refining a void-cleaving talisman, even refining a void-cleaving talisman was enough to refine more than 10 void-cleaving talismans. However, at this time, the other party actually asked her how many spirit stones a void-cleaving talisman would cost. Her husband was right, greedy people would always be greedy. She was just too kind. "Yu Gu, the materials I have given to the Yu clan over the years, not to mention refining a void-cleaving talisman, even refining a stack of void-cleaving talismans would be more than enough. If not for my support, would Yu Yangji even be able to advance to the Tier 9 talisman grandmaster?" Shi Qianghua, despite her anger, still spoke with a calm tone. The cultivator referred to by Shi Qianghua as Yu Gu was the black-haired old man, the clan head of the Yu clan. When he heard Shi Qianghua's words, he stood up and cupped his fists before speaking in a calm voice. "Dao friend Shi, if not for your materials, I would not have sold the void-cleaving talisman to you. However, even if you have a lot of materials, if you do not refine them into talismans, they would only be a pile of waste. So be it, I'll make the decision. You have a copper coin. If you take out that copper coin as a reward, my Yu clan will give you a void-cleaving talisman." Shi Qianghua did not speak again, nor did she try to explain. The greed of the Yu clan was beyond her imagination. Not to mention that this copper coin was given to her by Ning Cheng, she would never take it out. Even if she took it out, she knew in her heart that the Yu clan would never let her go. Today, even if she had to self-destruct, she had to learn from her husband's actions. Shi Qianghua did not hesitate to bring out her blue sword, while simultaneously bringing out the 5 elements treasure fall copper coin. "She wants to start, let's go together." Yu Gu, on seeing Shi Qianghua start, immediately roared out and brought out his own magical weapon. Unfortunately, Shi Qianghua did not enter the Yu clan's reception hall. Otherwise, Shi Qianghua would not have the ability to resist at all. Boom boom boom. Ka-ka-ka. Terrifying explosions and the bombardment of various magical weapons erupted in the Yu clan's courtyard, and the entire Qinwu city could hear it clearly. However, no one dared to approach the Yu clan. A lot of people who knew about the situation understood that this was a fight between the Qinwu city's premier expert, Shi Qianghua, and the Yu clan. As for the reason, no one thought that Shi Qianghua was in the wrong. Although Shi Qianghua's cultivation was the highest in the Qinwu city, she never bullied the weak. Moreover, the transactions were conducted in accordance with the rules, without even a shred of bullying. However, the Yu clan was equally powerful, and was also the premier talisman crafting aristocratic family of the ink essence star. As such, no one was willing to offend the Yu clan casually. The explosions in the Yu clan lasted for most of the day, before gradually subsiding. On this day, a major event occurred in the ink essence star's Qinwu city. The Yu clan, which had been flourishing for a while, wanted to snatch the magical weapon of a female cultivator. As a result, both sides ended up perishing together. Almost all the elders of the Yu clan ended up dead, and only a few people managed to use the void-cleaving talisman to barely leave the ink essence star. Because of this incident, the Yu clan completely fell from grace in the Qinwu city, not to mention dominating the entire ink essence star. Similarly, the premier female cultivator, Shi Qianghua, who originally lived in the Qinwu city, also disappeared on this day. It was said that she ended up perishing together with the Yu clan's cultivators. Ningcheng suddenly stopped. He put his hand on his forehead, as he felt a burst of discomfort. This kind of discomfort was as if he had just lost the person closest to him. It was a feeling that made him unable to breathe. What's going on? Ningcheng took out the heart knot. The heart knot was safe and sound, indicating that Luofei was doing well. Did something happen to Ruolin? It stood to reason that since Ruolin and Rue Baishan were together, nothing should have happened to them. Qianghua? When Ningcheng thought of the name Shi Qianghua, his heart suddenly felt as if it had been struck by a huge iron awl. After his underworld soul flower was used up by Sun Han Rue, he had been looking for something similar to the underworld soul flower. It was because he wanted to save Uncle Yu and Xian Zimo. Although he knew that it was not realistic to find the Qinwu city through these two people, it was still a glimmer of hope. It's just that the underworld soul flower was too rare. Perhaps he could only find it after entering the starry skies. Today, he had not even entered the starry skies, but he already felt a trace of uneasiness. This trace of uneasiness was definitely brought to him by Qianghua. Ningcheng sat down and grabbed his hair with his hands. He hated himself for being too weak. If he had the same strength as elder brother Tsang Wei, he could directly tear open the planar boundary and head to the ink essence star. Huff! Ningcheng took in a deep breath. He made up his mind that no matter what, he must speed up his cultivation. Tearing open the void boundary was his next goal. As long as he could achieve this goal, he would continue to tear open the void of the various planar boundaries to search for the Qinwu city. A slight sound arrived, causing Ningcheng to feel surprised. He immediately put away these thoughts and looked up, only to find a broken silver battleship not far in front of him. The battleship was in ruins, and a female cultivator wearing a light blue robe climbed out of the broken silver battleship. He had been thinking about Shi Qianghua a moment ago, so he had not seen her. No, this female cultivator looked very familiar. It was the same female cultivator who had chased after him before. She could kill countless void explosive golden wasps with a single slap. After understanding this, Ningcheng's scalp immediately exploded. He had never thought that even after escaping into the void, this female cultivator would still follow him like a lingering ghost. Chapter 481. This female cultivator in a light blue robe could only be described as ordinary, with slightly darker skin compared to the average female cultivator. Her eyes were big and bright, just like the stars in the night sky, making it impossible for people to ignore her. The tyrannical aura coming from her made Ningcheng feel a bit of fear. From this, he could see that this female cultivator was seriously injured. Even so, Ningcheng estimated that he was not her opponent. The blue-robed female cultivator also saw Ningcheng. She looked at Ningcheng from top to bottom before frowning. Who are you? With such a low cultivation, why are you in the Bright Void Gorge? This was the second time Ningcheng heard someone mention Bright Void. The first time was from Tsang Wei. Bright Void was the void between interfaces, and some people simply called it the Void. Since this woman knew about Bright Void, It meant that she was not from an ordinary true cultivator world. Perhaps she was a cultivator from the starry skies. Although this female cultivator had an ordinary appearance, there was a faint halo behind her. If these halos were a little more obvious, it would even remind Ning Cheng of the ancient Chinese myths and legends of the gods, who were surrounded by circles of colorful halos behind them. From Ning Cheng's memories, he knew that these halos were called the light of wisdom, also known as the radiant light, or the light of nature. Or perhaps there were other names for it, such as the radiant light. How could this blue-robed female cultivator have such a faint halo behind her? The blue-robed female cultivator, on seeing Ning Cheng not answering, her face sank slightly. Did you not hear what I just asked you? Ning Cheng saw that the other party did not have any intention to attack and quickly spoke up. I don't know. I was attracted by the void collapse and fell in here. It's you? Did you control the void battleship that I chased? What about the scarlet-robed young noble? How could he let you stay in his void battleship? And with your cultivation, how could you still be alive after the void collapse sucked that broken battleship in? The blue-robed female cultivator asked in shock. Apparently, she understood what was going on from Ning Cheng's words. Hearing the blue-robed female cultivator's words, Ning Cheng instantly understood. This female cultivator was not chasing after him. Regardless of whether this female cultivator sensed the aura of the Wasp King egg or not, she should have been chasing after the scarlet-robed youth. That scarlet-robed youth was the scarlet-robed young noble. He had killed the scarlet-robed youth, and even piloted the other party's void battleship. As a result, this blue-robed female cultivator misunderstood him. After understanding this, Ning Cheng felt extremely annoyed. If he had known this earlier, he would have never rushed into the void collapse and come to this damned place. I don't know. When I found this battleship, there was indeed a red-robed youth inside. He seems to have already died. I saw that this battleship was quite good, so I decided to take control and play around with it. I did not expect to be chased by the void explosive golden wasps, and ended up mistakenly entering this place. Ning Cheng quickly spoke up with a smile. The blue-robed female cultivator walked up to Ning Cheng and circled around Ning Cheng before speaking up in a cold voice. What a load of nonsense. I seriously injured that scarlet-robed young noble, so he definitely would not die for no reason. You should be the one who killed the scarlet-robed prince. I didn't expect you to have so many trump cards. Putting aside the fact that you killed the red-robed young master with your low cultivation, you even managed to survive the spatial collapse. Cold sweat trickled down Ning Cheng's back. This woman wanted to force him to reveal his secrets. Even if the other party knew that he did it, he could not admit it. This senior, when I entered the battleship, I was already a dead scarlet-robed youth then. The blue-robed female cultivator waved her hand. You don't have to refute it. With your little cleverness, you want to refute it in front of me? Do you want to say that someone else killed the red-robed young master? Then let me tell you. If someone else killed the red-robed young master, they would never leave behind the explosive golden wasp's Wasp King egg. Don't ask me how I know that you took away the explosive golden wasp's Wasp King egg. If you did not take away the Wasp King egg, would those explosive golden wasps be willing to chase after you? Would they even be willing to throw themselves into the void collapse? That would be strange. It should be because the red-robed young master was healing, and you took the opportunity to sneak attack him, right? Maybe you sneak attacked the red-robed young master while he was healing in the midst of the explosive golden wasp swarm. I have to admire you. You truly have a lot of courage. When Ning Cheng heard this, he suddenly became speechless. This woman was too powerful. It was as if she had seen it with her own eyes. Lying in front of such a woman, one would have to bear a lot of pressure. Yes, I killed the red-robed young master. Ning Cheng admitted to what he did. The blue-robed female cultivator showed a smile. You're dead. Do you know who the red-robed young master is? Since you dared to kill him, it would be strange if you did not end up dead. As long as you don't say anything, no one would know about it. Ning Cheng, on seeing that this female cultivator did not seem to have any intention of killing him, felt a little relieved. The blue-robed female cultivator spoke up with disdain. If I don't say anything? Even if you don't say anything, others would already know about it. Since you killed the red-robed young master, you already have a mark on your body. As long as you go to the starry skies, you would immediately be caught. Ningqing suddenly felt surprised. Because of the red-robed youth's last words, after he killed the red-robed youth, he had repeatedly checked his body with his spiritual consciousness. However, he did not find any traces or marks on his body. Seeing Ningqing's actions, the blue-robed female cultivator spoke up in a calm voice. You don't have to check again. Even I can't get rid of that mark. If you want to find it, then don't even dream about it. Ningqing felt a little disappointed and gave up on continuing to check. He had no idea what kind of place this bright void gorge was. Since he ended up in such a place, he would have to wait until he got out of this place to find out about any dangers. Thinking of this, he calmly spoke up. I'm not the only one who killed the red-robed young master. If you hadn't seriously injured him, I wouldn't have been able to kill him. The blue-robed female cultivator did not expect Ningqing to say such words. She froze for a moment before giggling. You reminded me. As long as I kill you, wouldn't everything be fine? Hearing the blue-robed female cultivator's words, Ningqing immediately took a few steps back and put up his guard. The blue-robed female cultivator, on seeing Ningqing's appearance, spoke up in a speechless manner. Don't be so nervous. I won't kill you. You helped me kill the red-robed young master. If I wanted to kill you, then it would be useless for you to be so nervous. You killed the seriously injured red-robed young master, but it's not enough in front of me. Ningqing knew that the other party spoke the truth. Although he did not want to admit it, he could only put away his vigilance. If the other party wanted to kill him, then it would not take much effort. In the face of absolute strength, any vigilance would become useless. You don't want my exploding golden wasp king egg? Ningqing asked in doubt. The blue-robed female cultivator snorted and spoke. Exploding golden wasp king egg? Why would I want it? This kind of wasp king egg requires a pair to breed an exploding golden wasp king. Moreover, there is only one, which is not worth much. Moreover, the red-robed young master had once obtained one at the auction, which is why he wanted to snatch this exploding golden wasp king egg. Ningqing froze for a while before asking again. In that case, why did the exploding golden wasp swarm chase after me? There is only one king egg. Even if they chased after it, it would not be of much use. If you don't understand anything, then don't talk nonsense. Let me show you. The blue-robed female cultivator took out a jade strip and threw it to Ningqing. Ningqing grabbed the jade strip and swept out with his spiritual consciousness. Soon, he understood what was going on. To breed the exploding golden wasp king egg, it had to be bred in pairs. The two king eggs were placed together, absorbing the wasp king's essence from each other. Until one of them fell into a disadvantageous position, the other would completely absorb the essence of the other and break out of the egg. Once the essence of the exploding golden wasp king egg was completely absorbed, it would lose all its value. If there was only one king egg, then other than the exploding golden wasp swarm, no one else could cultivate it. The exploding golden wasp swarm would take turns to use their own life essence to cultivate the king egg. After a long time, it would eventually break out of the shell. Moreover, the jade strip recorded the various breeding methods of the exploding golden wasp swarm, as well as the method to recognize its owner. Ningqing felt overjoyed in his heart. He wanted such a jade strip. He did not expect to obtain it so easily. So that's how it is. Ningqing calmly handed the jade strip in his hand to the blue-robed female cultivator. He guessed that the red-robed young master's ring also contained such a jade strip. The blue-robed female cultivator did not take the jade strip and casually spoke up. This is for you. I guess that you will never have the opportunity to go out in your lifetime. Staying here and playing around with the exploding golden wasp king egg might not be a bad idea. You're the one playing with the egg. Ningqing felt very unhappy in his heart. The blue-robed female cultivator obviously felt Ningqing's unfriendliness. However, she ignored Ningqing and turned around to leave. Ningqing, on the other hand, had a good impression of her. This female cultivator seemed to have some principles, and did not ask him how he managed to survive the spatial collapse unscathed. Ningqing followed up and asked, Senior, can you tell me how to get out of the bright void gorge? Do you want to get out? Yes, I want to get out. Ningqing replied speechlessly. Wasn't this nonsense? Who would want to stay in such a place? Oh, then tell me, how did you get out of here unscathed? As far as I know, even someone with a higher cultivation than me would find it difficult to survive a spatial collapse. Didn't you see that my most precious void battleship was crushed into pieces by the spatial collapse? The blue-robed female cultivator spoke with a calm voice. Ningqing immediately understood that it was not that she did not want to ask, but that she was waiting for him to speak. Sorry, it's my secret. Ningqing refused without hesitation. The blue-robed female cultivator showed a sweet smile. It's good. How to get out of this place is also my secret. After saying that, the blue-robed female cultivator seemed to feel that it was not enough and added another sentence. Don't even think about flying out of this place. With your cultivation, even if you flew for a few decades, you might not be able to reach the end. Also, in case you fall midway, you might even fall to your death. After saying that, the blue-robed female cultivator sped up her pace and soon disappeared from Ningqing's line of sight and spiritual consciousness. Ningqing did not chase after her. The other party's cultivation was higher than his. Since she did not want to say it, then forget it. He did not believe that he could not get out of this gorge with the mysterious yellow bead. Initially, he wanted to slowly fly up the gorge and then walk away from it. But after listening to the blue-robed female cultivator's words, he dispelled the idea. He believed that the blue-robed female cultivator did not lie to him. Chapter 482. Ningqing did not continue forward. Since the blue-robed female cultivator said so, it would be meaningless for him to continue forward. He took out the ring of the scarlet-robed young noble. The scarlet-robed young noble apparently came from the starry skies, just like the blue-robed female cultivator. Maybe the other party's ring contained something he needed. As a Tier 8 array formation Grand Master, Ningqing's ability to create restrictions was equally powerful. Coupled with his powerful comprehension and deduction abilities, it took him a few days to completely open the scarlet-robed young noble's ring. What made Ningqing dumbfounded was that the scarlet-robed young noble's ring did not contain any of the cultivation crystals he wanted, nor did it contain any spirit stones or other materials. The only things inside were a few cards, some blue and some black. No, how could the scarlet-robed young noble only have these few things? He did not see the most important weapon of a cultivator. He did not believe that the scarlet-robed young noble did not have any weapons. Ningqing put away the ring and stood up. It seemed that he still needed to find the blue-robed female cultivator. Otherwise, he might end up trapped in the bright void gorge. Walking along the winding road at the bottom of the gorge for a few more days, although the temperature inside was nothing to Ningqing, he still felt a little restless in his heart. In this seemingly endless and silent place, just walking around every day without any sound or hope, it was just too depressing. Boom. Ningqing suddenly thought that there would be no sound when a violent explosion erupted in front of Ningqing, sending countless gravel flying into the sky. Ningqing immediately quickened his pace. He was not afraid of any movement in this place. What he feared the most was silence. After half an incense stick worth of time, Ningqing arrived at a place not far from the explosion. As Ningqing approached, a scorching heat wave swept over Ningqing's body. Ningqing had the celestial river flame protecting him, but he still had to circulate his true essence to block it. If this heat wave hit an ordinary person, it could even turn an ordinary person into ashes. Ningqing had a rank 6 imperial body, and with the support of the celestial river flame, he barely managed to get close to the explosion. He finally saw the blue-robed female cultivator wrapped in endless waves of fire. Almost all of her clothes had been burned away by the flames. Apart from a doo-doo and a delicate thin bra, she almost stood naked in the middle of the flames. Only a radius of 10 feet from where she stood did not have any flames. Although this female cultivator had a tall and straight body, and even wearing this kind of beach attire looked very pleasing to the eye, Ningqing did not have even half a shred of appreciation in his heart. He was looking at the increasing waves of fire. These waves of fire were stacking and compressing at the same time. Clearly, when the fire wave completely closed, it would be time for her to turn into ashes. These flames were endless and seemed to be emerging from the bottom of the canyon. Moreover, they were still growing stronger. What is this woman doing? She had actually provoked so many terrifying flames to envelop her. Was she courting death? Do you want to die? This is the blazing void flame. With your cultivation, you won't be able to hold on for more than a few breaths of time. Huh. As the female cultivator spoke, she paused and exclaimed in surprise. At this moment, Ningqing not only approached the incinerating void fire, but even his robes had not melted away. She looked at Ningqing in shock. He was just a puny crucible transformation cultivator. Even if he was standing on the periphery of the flames, it would still be impossible for him to escape unscathed. She understood that there was something different about Ningqing, but she did not ask for help. With Ningqing's cultivation, even if he wanted to save her, it would be completely impossible. Ningqing did not want to poke his nose into other people's business, but at this moment, the celestial river within his Zifu started to throb fiercely. Apparently, the celestial river was reminding him to rush into the blazing void fire. Ningqing did not continue to restrain the celestial river. The next moment, the celestial river rushed into the layers of flames. Celestial river flame. The female cultivator also saw the celestial river rushing into the blazing void fire, causing her mouth to open wide. As for the sand beach clothes on her body, she completely ignored it. She even forgot about the waves of fire that were less than half a foot away from her. At this time, Ningqing did not have the mind to care about this female cultivator. His mind had always been focused on the celestial river. The celestial river was his treasure. He did not want to fall into this endless blazing void fire. A moment later, his spiritual sense sensed that the celestial river had stopped. At this moment, the celestial river had wrapped around a red and blue crystal. Ningqing immediately felt that the celestial river was growing stronger. Blazing void flame essence. The female cultivator called out once again, revealing an envious look. As the celestial river wrapped around the blazing void flame essence, the flames surrounding the female cultivator instantly retreated. In just a short time, the endless waves of fire started to weaken. The color of the celestial river quickly changed from red to green, then to cyan, before finally turning into a blue flame. When the color of the celestial river turned blue, the blazing void flame essence completely disappeared, and the flames around the female cultivator also disappeared. The celestial river fell into Ningqing's palm with excitement, and soon disappeared into Ningqing's hands. Ningqing knew that the celestial river had already returned to his Zifu. What a powerful flame! Unfortunately, I wasted a blazing void flame essence. The female cultivator also came back to her senses and shook her head with a sigh. If this blazing void flame essence had been given to her, it would have been a great thing. Ningqing coughed. Shouldn't you put on some clothes first? The female cultivator glanced at Ningqing without even half a shred of shyness. Even if you looked at me once, it would still be the same if you looked at me 100 times. After looking at me for so long, you gave me a set of clothes to wear. Is it really a loss? Although the female cultivator showed an incomparably calm appearance, only she knew in her heart how nervous and depressed she felt at this moment. She did not know what to do other than deliberately showing an indifferent look. Why do you want me to give you clothes? It's your own. Ningqing's words had not yet finished when the female cultivator interrupted him. I know, I didn't pay attention, but my ring also collapsed. The female cultivator did not need to continue. Ningqing immediately understood. He took out a set of clothes and threw it to the female cultivator. It's new, I haven't worn it yet. These clothes all belong to Luofei, so he could only lend a set to the other party. Hey, I thought you only had clothes for male cultivators. I didn't expect you to have clothes for female cultivators. I really couldn't tell. After the female cultivator quickly put on the set of clothes, she spoke out a few words, not knowing if she was praising Ningqing or sarcastically mocking Ningqing. Do you have any extra rings? Give me one. Also give me some ordinary materials. I want to refine something. After the female cultivator put on the clothes, her self-confidence once again returned, and the tone of her speech also became natural. Seeing Ningqing frowning and not speaking, she spoke again. If you want to get out of this place, you will need my help. Without me, you would not even know what the bright void gorge is. Moreover, once we get out, I will return it to you. Ning Cheng reluctantly took out the scarlet-robed youth's ring and handed it to her before speaking. This ring belongs to the scarlet-robed young noble. There are only a few cards inside and nothing else. As for some of the materials and weapons, consider it as a gift from me. The female cultivator put away the ring without any trace of politeness. Are you afraid that the scarlet-robed young noble's ring contains some kind of trap? You think too much. What you obtained is just an ordinary ring. The scarlet-robed young noble's real storage ring is locked together with his spiritual soul. Once he falls, the ring would explode. With your cultivation, you would not be able to obtain the ring of a celestial scryer cultivator. So that was the case. Ning Cheng finally understood and immediately asked, "What is a celestial scryer cultivator? Also, I would like to ask Senior, why is there a faint halo behind you? Is it some kind of special cultivation method? Can you see my celestial wheel?" The female cultivator exclaimed before adding, "Don't call me Senior from now on. My name is Lanya." "My name is Ning Cheng. I hope Senior Apprentice Sister Lan can give me some pointers." Ning Cheng, on seeing that Lanya was only a few years older than him, no longer remained polite. Lanya nodded. "It looks like you come from a broken mainland and do not even understand these basic common sense. However, your cultivation method is quite amazing, allowing you to see my celestial wheel. After a cultivator reaches the grand circle of the domain realm, they would then need to cross the nirvana tribulation." Senior Apprentice Sister Lan, what is the grand circle of the domain realm and the nirvana tribulation? Ning Cheng quickly asked. Lanya rubbed her forehead and spoke. "You don't even know this. How did you survive in the void?" Seeing Ning Cheng's embarrassed look, she waved her hand and spoke. "Forget it. You should at least know what realm you would reach after reaching the crucible transformation realm, right?" "I know this. It's the plundering life realm." Ning Cheng finally found some confidence. "Yes, it's the plundering life realm. After crossing the tribulation at the grand circle of the plundering life realm is the domain realm. The domain realm is different from the previous realms. This realm does not have 9 levels, only the grand circle and the non-grand circle. Domain refers to the ability to use your own true essence and spiritual consciousness, that is, the ability to control the surrounding space. You are only at the crucible transformation realm, so don't think about domains for the time being. If one's domain is not grand circle, then one would never be able to cross the nirvana tribulation. Therefore, there are countless cultivators stuck in this place, either unable to reach the grand circle of their domain, or failing to cross the tribulation. The nirvana tribulation is different from ordinary tribulations. It is extremely powerful, and if one is not careful, they would turn into ashes." Lanya's explanation was quite detailed. At least Ning Cheng could understand it. What would happen if one successfully crosses the nirvana tribulation? Ning Cheng knew that he already had a fake domain. However, he did not say it out loud. Lanya nodded. "This is what I wanted to tell you. After successfully crossing the nirvana tribulation, one would form a celestial wheel. At the same time, one's true essence would transform into starry sky essence force. Only after the transformation can the cultivator continue to absorb the starry sky spiritual source for cultivation. Cultivators who form a celestial wheel would have to face 3 realms of celestial scryer, namely Celestial Novice, Celestial Shatterer and Celestial Gatherer. Then may I ask what Senior Apprentice Sister Lan's realm is?" Lanya gave Ning Cheng a blank look. "I just entered the Celestial Shatterer realm. That scarlet-robed young noble is a genius with a Celestial Novice cultivation. If you were not seriously injured, even 100 of you would not be enough to withstand a single slap from him." Ning Cheng did not refute it. He had already seen Lanya's fearsomeness. At this time, he needed to figure out what kind of powerhouses would appear after entering the starry skies. "Then may I ask Senior Apprentice Sister Lan, does cultivating to the Celestial Gatherer realm make one the most powerful expert? Most powerful? In your dreams. Within the endless starry skies, there are countless celestial rivers and galaxies. Not to mention those celestial river kings, even a celestial lord can pinch a celestial gatherer powerhouse to death with just a finger. Moreover, what I want to tell you is that the scarlet-robed young noble's father is a celestial lord." Lanya's gaze turned completely contemptuous. Ningqing only had a crucible transformation cultivation, yet he wanted to be the most powerful. Chapter 483. Within the rootless Black City, he could be said to be the #1 person. However, now he realized that he was nothing at all. Once he entered the starry sky, with his cultivation, he would be an existence that could be instantly killed by others. As for celestial lords or celestial river kings, they were simply too far away from him. You don't have to look at me like that. You seem to have a pretty good aptitude. Perhaps with my guidance, you might even have a chance of succeeding in nirvana. As long as he succeeded in his nirvana, he would have a chance of survival in the starry sky. Besides, the most important thing right now is how to get out of the bright void gorge. Seeing Ningqing somewhat dejected, Lanya tried to comfort him out of goodwill. How do we leave? Will I be trapped by the infernal void flames again? Ningqing remained silent. However, it was not because Lanya had imagined him to be dejected. Rather, he was thinking about how to improve his strength as soon as possible. Otherwise, how could he gain a foothold in the starry skies with Luofei in the future? Lanya, on hearing Ningqing's tone, realized that she had misread it a moment ago. As she spoke up in a somewhat helpless manner. The Bright Void Canyon is a canyon hidden between the high and low interfaces. It is formed by the collapse of spatial space and the compression of various spatial spaces. There were many such canyons, and some of them might not even be able to come out after entering for the rest of their lives. Just now, I wanted to find the weakest part of the canyon and force my way out. I never thought that my luck would be so bad. I just so happened to find the location of the nether blaze. Otherwise, it would have been extremely difficult for your celestial river to advance. The celestial river flame is a top-grade flame, which makes it exceptionally difficult to advance. Seeing that Ningqing was not willing to talk about the celestial river, she also did not continue to ask about it, and instead spoke up. The Bright Void Canyon looks very difficult to get out of. But in fact, if you can break through the canyon walls, then it would be very easy to enter the void. Of course, it was not to randomly find a place to open a path. If you did that, you might spend 100 years and still not be able to open it. Every bright void gorge has a weak spot. All we need to do is find that weak spot and open it up. How do I find it? Ningqing did not know anything about this kind of canyon. Lanya rolled her eyes at Ningqing and spoke. I found it. It's in this location. Now that the incinerating void fire has been absorbed by your celestial river, it is very likely that you will be able to pass through the bottom of this canyon and once again enter the void. If you want to go out, then follow me. As Lanya finished speaking, she immediately dove into the deep pit created by the incinerating void fire. Ningqing immediately followed suit. In front of Ningqing, Lanya was just like a loach. Not only was she fast, but she was also very flexible. Ningqing was secretly left speechless. Even if he was on ordinary ground, he would not be able to move this fast. If he had not followed behind Lanya, he would not have been able to move so quickly in this place. For the next few days, Lanya managed to escape from the bottom of the Bright Void Gorge. Ningqing followed behind her, but did not know where he would end up. On the 10th day, Lanya finally stopped. She raised her hand and created a huge crater in the ground. Let's take a break here. I don't know when we will be able to get out. If we don't come out for a few years, then we would have no choice but to die in the depths of this canyon. The surroundings were pitch black, without the slightest bit of light. If not for following behind Lanya, Ningqing would not even have the ability to escape through the earth. Since Lanya wanted to rest, he could only follow behind her to rest. Why did you kill the scarlet-robed young noble? Ningqing took out some spirit stones to restore his true essence, as he asked. My best friend's entire family died at the hands of this person. This person is cruel and merciless, even worse than his father. This time, I managed to catch him sneaking into the void. Even so, I chased after him for several years. Finally, we were all sucked into a spatial storm and ended up in an unfamiliar void. This person's luck was quite good, and he even managed to find an exploding golden wasp king egg. If not for me sneak attacking him, not only would I have failed to kill him, but I would have also let him obtain the wasp king egg. If he had not been injured, those exploding golden wasps would have been nothing to him. Therefore you helped me kill the scarlet-robed young noble. I am very grateful to you. When Lanya spoke about it again, her tone had turned very calm. Ningqing secretly felt that it was a close call. If the scarlet-robed young noble were safe and sound, wanting to kill the scarlet-robed young noble would have been nothing more than a dream. But then again, if the scarlet-robed young noble was not seriously injured, he would not have used the exploding golden wasps to massacre the city. As for Lanya's words of gratitude, he truly did not feel it. If Lanya had not been surrounded by the incinerating void flames, how could he have had the opportunity to come out with Lanya? Can you talk about celestial wheels? Ningqing, on seeing that Lanya was not in a good mood, took the initiative to change the topic. He really wanted to know if celestial wheels were related to one's cultivation. Lanya did not care about it and explained. For cultivators in the starry skies, the strength of their celestial wheels represents the strength of their cultivation. For a powerful cultivator, once they gather enough celestial essence, their celestial wheels can even shine like the sun in the sky. I only have a celestial shatterer cultivation, so my celestial wheels are very faint. Originally, celestial wheels represented the strength of a person's cultivation, not the light of wisdom or radiant radiance. Is Celestial Lord a realm? No, Celestial Lord is just a status. Only by crossing the Celestial Gatherer realm and fusing with the celestial wheels can one become a Celestial Lord and control a star. After talking with Lanya, the more Ningqing understood, the more he felt small. When he killed the scarlet-robed young noble, he did not take the last words spoken by the scarlet-robed young noble to heart. Only now did he understand that the words meant that the ignorant were fearless. As they continued to move forward, Ningqing turned completely silent. Lanya also did not say anything. Ningqing was just a crucible transformation cultivator. It would have been strange for him to be in a good mood after learning that it would be difficult for him to survive in the starry skies with his cultivation. However, this time, the two of them did not walk for long. In just 2 days, Ningqing felt the surroundings turn empty, and his entire body felt relaxed. We came out. This place should be close to the void within the starry skies. Lanya spoke up with joy. Ningqing had already felt that the void in this place did not have any spatial wind edges, only some spatial turbulences. These spatial turbulences had no effect on him, let alone Lanya. Senior apprentice Sister Lan, I want to go back to the place where we entered the void collapse. How do I get there? Ningqing quickly asked. What he wanted to do the most right now was to quickly return to the rootless Black City. No matter what, he had to see Luofei first. Lanya shook her head and spoke. Ningqing, if you want to go back to the original place, it would be very difficult. Traversing through the void collapse, I have no idea how many void spaces we passed through in between. If I did not have a good battleship, I would not have come out alive from the void collapse. If you want to go back to your original place, you must know which celestial system you are in, and which celestial river you belong to. My ring exploded, and I do not have the void coordinates, so I can't answer you. However, there is one thing I can tell you. This place is not far from the starry skies. The place we entered before was completely within the void, without even a shadow of the starry skies. Therefore, it must be very far from this place. Wait. Just as Lanya spoke, a void battleship quickly flew past him. Not waiting for the void battleship to fly further, Lanya raised her hand and shot out a brilliant firework. Ningqing guessed that Lanya had refined these fireworks using the materials he had given her. It turned out that she wanted to refine these things. Ningqing did not know what this firework was used for, but it looked a bit like a signal. Seeing Ningqing's doubts, Lanya explained, "This is the void's distress signal. When others see this signal, if they have the intention, they can come and take a look. Of course, not all people will pay attention to this signal." Are these people that good? Ningqing felt even more strange. He had seen too many ugly phenomena, and could not believe that there were so many good people in the starry skies. Lanya sneered. So good? Those who receive the distress signal will come and ask you if you can come up with a reward. If there is no reward, then even if you ask others for help, they will just ignore it. But you don't have the ring on you, so what can you take out? Ningqing looked at Lanya. Lanya did not know what to think, but her face turned slightly red before she spoke up in anger. I don't have anything, but do you not have anything? Don't you have a few cards? Take them all out. What kind of cards are those? Ningqing guessed that those cards might have some use, but he did not know what kind of cards they were. Don't ask, just take them out first. Lanya waved her hand and spoke. Ningqing ignored Lanya. Although Lanya brought him out, and he had also helped Lanya, the two of them did not owe each other anything. Even if he had to take out those cards, Lanya would at least explain the function of those cards. At this moment, a brown battleship quickly flew over and stopped not far from Ningqing and Lanya. The battleship's door opened, and a fat man with a fierce-looking face asked with a smile, "Do the two of you need any help? I want to buy a battleship with void coordinates. Do you have it? It would be best if it is a battleship with the largest void coordinates." Lanya did not have any time to talk nonsense with Ningqing and quickly spoke up. Of course, I do have a battleship. I have a high-grade domain-level battleship with a price of 1 billion blue coins. The fat man's tone turned softer. Why don't you just rob it? 1 billion blue coins to buy a top-grade domain-level battleship. You can even buy a few of them. Lanya retorted without any trace of politeness. The fat man shook his head and spoke. You can't say it like that. Of course, the price of business here is a bit higher. Second, you can state a price. If I am not satisfied with it, then we can just part ways on good terms. 50 million blue coins. Lanya immediately reduced the price of the opposite party by a few dozen times. The fat man did not get angry and spoke up slowly. 200 million blue coins. If you want it, then I'll take it. If you don't want it, then I'll leave. Lanya immediately understood that this price was the bottom line. She quickly spoke up to Ningqing. Take out your blue card for 200 million. Ningqing then realized that his blue card contained blue coins, which was equivalent to a bank card. He took out 3 blue cards and swept them with his spiritual consciousness, only to find that they all had the words 100 million written on them. With the blue coins, the transaction became very easy. After the fat man received the blue coins, he threw out a black battleship and quickly controlled the battleship to disappear into the void. This is the Orchid Burrow Celestial River, which is countless miles away from where we came from. The place we came from belongs to the named Descendant Celestial River, which is separated by a celestial river. I estimate that you will never be able to return to this place in your lifetime. After entering the battleship, Lanya immediately opened the void coordinates and spoke out a sentence that made Ningqing feel extremely frustrated. Chapter 484. Lanya looked at Ningqing sympathetically and continued. I have heard of the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. It is one of the weaker places in this part of the starry skies. This place rarely produced any outstanding people. It was a lot worse compared to the neighboring named Descendant Celestial River. With your current blue coins, wanting to cross the Celestial River is simply impossible. Even if you have enough blue coins, your cultivation would not allow you to cross the Celestial River. If you want to return to the original void, there is only one way. That is to find a place in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River to slowly cultivate. Perhaps one day you can also become a Celestial Lord. When that time comes, you can go back. Usually, what realm can one become a Star Lord? Also, what is the realm after star condensation? Ningqing's nails dug into his palms. He was absolutely not willing to stay in such a strange place. Lanya looked at Ningqing's clenched fists and gave out a dark sigh before speaking. After the Celestial Gatherer realm, there are still the 3 realms of the Celestial River realm, the Celestial Bridge realm, the Undead realm and the Heaven's Mandate realm. Only by fusing with the Celestial Wheel and forming a Celestial Bridge could one advance to the Celestial Bridge realm. Only cultivators in the Celestial Bridge realm could cultivate a spiritual technique, because of the endless supply of starry sky essence force. After the Celestial Bridge fully fused with the Celestial Bridge, it would gain the ability to regenerate one's body. There was no need for any spiritual items at all. As long as one's cultivation reached this level, as long as the spirit was not extinguished, it was almost immortal, so it was called the Galaxy Undying Realm. People at the Great Circle of the Undead Realm can peek into a trace of their own destiny. This realm is called the Celestial River Heaven's Mandate Realm, which is also the highest realm among the 3 Celestial River realms. Ningcheng gave out a sigh. Is that Celestial River King a Heaven's Mandate cultivator? Lanya looked at the endless void for a long time before shaking her head and speaking. No, even with an immortal body and a glimpse of one's own destiny, one would not be able to control one's own destiny. That was why after the destiny state, there were still the 3 destiny realms. Destiny was not controlled by oneself, but by the heavenly Tao. Only those in the heaven-seated realm who step into the 3 realms of heaven's mandate are qualified to become Celestial River Kings. Ningcheng turned completely silent. Although he had more powerful opportunities compared to others, he also had the biggest disadvantage. It was more difficult for him to advance than others, and this was under the condition that he had enough cultivation resources. He was not the son of a celestial lord, nor did he have a father who was a Celestial River King. He could only rely on himself. Your aptitude is not bad. The nearest star continent here is the Lesser Thunder Star. Cultivating on this starry sky planet is much faster than cultivating on an ordinary true cultivation continent. Maybe in another 100 or 200 years, you can also successfully undergo nirvana and become a celestial novice cultivator with a celestial wheel. Moreover, if you stay in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River to cultivate, no one would know about you. Lanya had a good personality and kept comforting Ningcheng. Ningcheng understood the meaning behind Lanya's words. If he stayed in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River to cultivate, then the scarlet-robed young noble's father from the name descendant Celestial River would not find out about it. This was also a consolation prize. As for Lanya's second mention of his qualifications, Ningcheng did not care about it. He himself did not know what his qualifications were, but the mysterious yellow bead was able to enhance the qualifications of his spiritual roots. This was something that Ningcheng already knew. So many years had passed, and he had no idea how much his aptitude had improved. As for Lanya's words about advancing to the Celestial Novice Realm in another 100 or 200 years, Ningcheng had never thought about it. In his mind, even if he advanced to the Celestial Novice Realm in 10 years, it would still be too slow. Senior Apprentice Sister Lan. Do you mean that you will leave the Lesser Thunder Star? Ningcheng decided to stay in the Lesser Thunder Star to cultivate. He hoped to stay with Lanya for the time being. After all, he did not know much about the stars in the starry sky, while Lanya knew a lot more than him. Lanya nodded and spoke. My qualifications should be better than yours. I will not stay in the Lesser Thunder Star. I have heard of the Celestial Lord of the Lesser Thunder Star, called Leia. His cultivation is quite ordinary, and it was only a matter of luck that he could become the Celestial Lord of the Lesser Thunder Star. Sooner or later, the Lesser Thunder Star would fall into someone else's hands. However, it has nothing to do with ordinary cultivators. I want to remind you of 2 things. First, once you arrive at the Lesser Thunder Star, you must apply for a Lesser Thunder Star's resident status. Second, even if you are poor, you must not sell yourself. Once you become a slave to others, you will never be able to turn over. Also, do not leave the Lesser Thunder Star without sufficient strength. Otherwise, you will be targeted by others and turned into a slave. Right, one more thing, do not meddle in other people's business. Ningcheng thanked her before turning silent once again. Lanya did not want to take him with her. He knew that it was because his cultivation was too low. If he followed behind Lanya with his cultivation, it would only be a hindrance to others. Then let's go. Lanya pressed the battleship's close button, causing the black battleship's hatch to immediately close before rushing out, leaving behind only an afterimage. She didn't warn Ningcheng to be careful of his own secrets. She didn't need to warn him about it. Ningcheng still hadn't told her how he survived the void collapse. From this, she knew that Ningcheng had done a much better job than her. Just as Lanya said, the Lesser Thunder Star was not too far away. Lanya controlled the void battleship and arrived at the Lesser Thunder Star in just a few days. The starry sky near the Lesser Thunder Star no longer had any spatial wind edges or various meteorite flows. Looking down from the starry sky, the entire Lesser Thunder Star looked like a huge gray cotton ball suspended in the vast starry sky. Lanya controlled the battleship to stop at the periphery of the Lesser Thunder Star's atmosphere, which contained a row of luxurious buildings. Outside these buildings was a very large public square. However, this public square contained only a few oddly shaped flying saucers or black ships. Lanya did not stop the battleship on the public square. After she let Ningqing out of the battleship, she directly put away the battleship. After the two of them entered one of the buildings, Ningqing finally saw the crowd inside the building's main hall. Although the main hall was spacious, there were still many people inside. Many of them had the same faint celestial wheels as Lanya. Some even had more than one celestial wheel. A variety of array formation displays filled the four corners of the main hall. Some people were drinking spiritual tea and spiritual wine, while others were watching the information displayed on the array formation displays. Ningqing did not speak. He knew what Lanya wanted to do here. Lanya had told him that this was their first time coming to the Lesser Thunder Star. As such, they had to apply for the Lesser Thunder Star's identity documents before entering the planet. This was the place to apply for the identity documents before entering the Lesser Thunder Star. This was the first time that Ningqing had seen a paper identity document outside of Earth. Previously, whether it was in the graceful Star mainland or the rootless Black City, he had used jade cards to replace these things. This identity document was only half the size of the various cards on Earth. However, it contained a variety of information, and even contained a trace of a cultivator's aura. Ningqing did not know what material was used to make this paper, but it was several times harder than the material used to make black coins. After learning that the long-term residency certificate in the Lesser Thunder City required 100 million blue coins, Ningqing and Lanya had to settle for the next best thing. The two of them applied for a temporary residency certificate in the Lesser Thunder City. However, this certificate only required 100 million black coins, which meant that one could not enjoy a lot of benefits. Moreover, it also had a time limit. After entering the Lesser Thunder Star, Lanya led Ningqing into the Ocean Gambling City. The Ocean Gambling City was only a medium-sized city in the Lesser Thunder Star. However, on a planet like the Lesser Thunder Star, there were countless such cities. These cities were managed by ordinary city lords. These city lords answered to the domain masters, while the domain masters answered to the celestial lords. A domain master might manage several, or even dozens of such ordinary cities. The city lord of the Ocean Gambling City was Evelyn's. However, it had nothing to do with Ningqing and Lanya. They had just arrived at the Ocean Gambling City, and needed to find a place to settle down. After Lanya entered the Ocean Gambling City, she appeared very calm and did not show any surprise. However, Ningqing felt extremely shocked in his heart. He could clearly feel that the spiritual source here was several times richer compared to the graceful Star mainland. It could even be compared to spiritual veins. What shocked Ningqing even more was that the spiritual source here, just as Lanya had said, was completely different from the spiritual veins found in spirit stones. Ningqing immediately recalled what Lanya had said to him before. You only have the cultivation of Crucible Transformation 7th level. You can easily purchase spirit stones in the Lesser Thunder Star. Before you undergo nirvana, you can use spirit stones for cultivation. Even if you use spirit stones for cultivation, the heaven and earth laws in this place are many times stronger compared to the true cultivation planets. Once you reach the grand completion of the domain realm, cross the nirvana tribulation, and transform your true essence into Starry Sky Essence Force, you would be able to absorb the Starry Sky Essence Chi directly. However, Ningqing had a feeling that he did not need to cross the nirvana tribulation to transform his true essence. He could absorb the Starry Sky Spirit Source here for cultivation. The Starry Sky Spirit Source was also known as the Starry Sky Essence Chi. Some people even referred to it as Celestial Essence. Ningqing guessed that it had something to do with his mysterious yellow formless. However, he did not tell Lanya about it. When it came to matters related to the mysterious yellow bead, he would never tell anyone about it except for the people closest to him. In addition to the shock brought to Ningqing by the Starry Sky Spirit Source, the environment here also shocked Ningqing. If he did not know that this place was hundreds of millions of miles away from Earth, he would have even suspected that this was a city on Earth. On both sides of the spacious street were high-rise buildings. A variety of streamlined energy vehicles roamed the streets. Many of the signs did not indicate that they were powered by array formations. Rather, they were powered by something similar to electricity. Occasionally, some small flight-type magical weapons flew across the sky. However, compared to the vehicles on the ground, there were not many flight-type magical weapons over the city. Not only that, but there were also a variety of billboards on both sides of the street. Brothels, casinos, merchant houses, arenas and many other things filled Lin Yang's eyes, all of which were above board. In any case, the technological civilization here was much more advanced compared to Earth. Seeing Ningcheng looking at the flight-type magical weapons over the city and the billboards on both sides, Lan Yu explained, "Those who can fly in the air here are people with status and identity. It is not something that can be achieved with money. Also, if you do not need it, I suggest that you do not go to the dual cultivation courtyards, casinos or arenas." Chapter 485. Even if Lanya had not mentioned it, Ningcheng would not go to such a troublesome place. Although it was Lanya's first time here, she quickly found a place and used 10 million blue coins to rent a very safe cultivation immortal cave for 10 years. Renting an immortal cave in the ocean gambling city was not that expensive, and one could even rent a place for 1 million blue coins for 10 years. Lanya felt that Ningcheng's cultivation was too low to live in a safe place. Therefore, she spent 10 million blue coins to help Ningcheng rent a better immortal cave. The immortal cave was not big, apart from a spiritual grass garden with a radius of less than 5 feet. It only had 2 rooms. Ningcheng was quite satisfied with the starry sky essence chi in this place. For him, safety was the most important thing, but cultivation was equally important. "Senior apprentice Sister Lan, you choose one of the rooms and give me the other one." Ningcheng had already calmed down. He knew that what he needed the most right now was to go into secluded cultivation. Lanya showed a faint smile and spoke, "We are already friends. You saved me, and I also helped you. I already told you that I will not stay in the ocean gambling city. I will go to other places to have a look. What I need the most right now is to earn blue coins. After I earn enough blue coins, I will leave the Lesser Thunder Star. However, I do not have any blue coins on me right now, so I cannot give you this battleship." Ningcheng did not expect Lanya to leave immediately. However, he did not try to persuade Lanya. The starry skies were vast, and one day in the future, he would have to leave the ocean gambling city. This place was just a temporary place for him to stay. Thinking of this, Ningcheng took out the card with nearly 100 million blue coins and handed it to Lanya before speaking. "Senior apprentice Sister Lan, I will definitely stay here in seclusion. I have a lot of spirit stones and blue essence ores, as well as 100 million black coins. You can have these blue coins. I will not be able to use them for the time being." Lanya did not expect Ningcheng to be so generous. Don't look at the 200 million blue coins spent on the battleship. In fact, it was just a scam. 100 million blue coins could buy a lot of things in the Lesser Thunder Star. Now that Ningcheng, a crucible transformation cultivator, did not hesitate to give these blue coins to her, Lanya felt a little touched in her heart. She did not refuse, took Ningcheng's blue coin card and spoke, "I really do need blue coins. Thank you for your help. I will come here to see you once before I leave the Lesser Thunder Star." Ningcheng understood Cheng's meaning. Lanya had gone out to make money and was ready to leave. After sending Lanya away, Ningcheng arranged a rank 8 defensive array outside his immortal cave, before going into secluded cultivation. As for the defensive array formation outside the cave abode, he did not touch it. This defensive array formation was of a much higher level than his array formation. At the very least, he couldn't set it up yet. Luofei was in the rootless Black City, Shi Qianghua had gone to the Qinwu City, while Grey Toot Toot was taken away by his younger sister Ruolin. For Ningcheng right now, he was truly alone in a starry sky in a foreign world. He was even more eager to cultivate to a higher level and leave this place. In the ocean gambling city, Ningcheng's arrival was like a speck of dust, which did not cause even half a ripple or fluctuation. No one knew who Ningcheng was, and no one cared about who Ningcheng was. But Ningcheng also did not care about the ocean gambling city. This place was not his, nor was it a place that he wanted to come to. Coming here was just a temporary stop. After starting to cultivate, Ningcheng's heart was filled with joy. Under such powerful heaven and earth laws, his cultivation speed was incomparably fast. When he absorbed the starry sky essence qi, he did not feel even the slightest bit of discomfort. The true essence within his body automatically transformed into celestial essence. In other words, he had not yet undergone nirvana, nor had he yet to cross the nirvana tribulation. Yet his true essence automatically transformed due to the changes in the spiritual source he absorbed. His meridians expanded and became tougher under the influence of the more powerful celestial essence. Even if his cultivation realm had not improved, his strength had already improved by at least 1 or 2 levels. After his true essence completely transformed into celestial essence, Ningcheng broke through from the Crucible Transformation 7th level to the Crucible Transformation 8th level. Moreover, Ningcheng found that after the spiritual source he absorbed changed from spiritual qi to starry sky essence, the mysterious yellow origin in his meridians became even more active, allowing him to cultivate even more efficiently. In just 3 months, he advanced from the Crucible Transformation 8th level to the Crucible Transformation 9th level. After another 3 months, Ningcheng's cultivation finally reached the great circle of the Crucible Transformation realm. Ningcheng stopped cultivating. He knew that he had to find a place to cross the tribulation and advance to the plundering life realm. The thunder tribulation of the plundering life realm did not mean much in the lesser thunder star. Therefore, after Ningcheng left the ocean gambling city, he chose a desolate suburb. Crossing the thunder tribulation of the plundering life realm in the lesser thunder star did not require any medicinal pills or any spiritual gathering array formations. The laws of heaven and earth and the celestial essence in this place were more than enough. Ningcheng was already at the great circle of the Crucible Transformation 9th level. Under the powerful laws of heaven and earth, he could almost touch the cultivation barrier of the plundering life realm with just a touch. Almost the moment he decided to attack the plundering life realm, his celestial essence had already touched the cultivation barrier of the plundering life realm. After a few impacts, the thunder tribulation finally came crashing down. The first wave of the thunder tribulation was made up of dozens of thick lightning arcs, which then mixed in with the thunder waterfall. Ningcheng had the thunder spiritual source, plus his true essence had already completely transformed. Even if the thunder tribulation was a bit more powerful, he would not bring out the everlasting blue thunder city. Ningcheng easily crossed the first 2 waves of the thunder tribulation. When the third wave of the thunder tribulation descended, Ningcheng had already broken through to the Crucible Transformation realm, advancing to the first level of plundering life realm. Ningcheng didn't even bother to resist the next thunder tribulation. He just sat on the spot and let the thunder tribulation fall on him. Instead, he desperately tried to absorb the thunder spirit source and combine it with the starry sky's essence qi to improve his cultivation. When the last wave of the thunder tribulation disappeared, Ningcheng finally broke through from the first level of plundering life realm and arrived at the second level of plundering life realm. In the lesser thunder star, a cultivator at the second level of plundering life realm was simply negligible. However, Ningcheng still felt somewhat satisfied in his heart. In his opinion, very few people could be like him, reaching the second layer after transcending the tribulation, right? He entered the ocean gambling city from the Crucible Transformation 7th level, and now cultivated to the second level of plundering life realm, all in less than a year. Initially, Lanya had said that he would need at least a few decades to advance from the Crucible Transformation realm to the plundering life realm. As for cultivating to the domain realm, it would take 1 to 200 years. According to his current progress, he would definitely advance to the celestial novice realm within 10 years. Ningcheng finally felt the benefits of cultivating in the starry skies. Not only was the starry sky's essence qi much stronger than ordinary spiritual qi, but the heaven and earth laws in this place were far from comparable to the true cultivation world and the low-leveled void. Even advancing to the plundering life realm did not require much preparation. After cleaning himself up, Ningcheng once again returned to the ocean gambling city. Just as he thought, his thunder tribulation did not attract anyone's attention. After returning to the ocean gambling city, he still had the same thoughts as before: cultivation, non-stop cultivation. There were many people in the ocean gambling city with the same cultivation as Ning Cheng. However, there were also many people with lower cultivations compared to Ning Cheng. Therefore, Ning Cheng walking on the streets of the ocean gambling city, with a cultivation of the second level of plundering life realm, did not look out of place. Get lost? With an angry roar, a gray-robed youth flew out and landed in front of Ning Cheng. If not for Ning Cheng's quick reaction and immediately taking 2 steps back, the flying youth would have already smashed into his body. The gray-robed youth was just about to get up when a brown-haired man landed and stepped on the back of the gray-robed youth before speaking in a cold voice. Jinghao, the next time you dare to renege on your debt in my casino, just you wait to go to the slave market, get lost. After the brown-haired man finished cursing, he spat on the gray-robed youth before slowly turning around and entering a building on the side of the street. Ning Cheng then saw the words Ocean Gambling's Premier Casino written on the top of the building. There was also a couplet written on the left and right side of the casino. Guests from the vast starry skies, wealth from the vast universe. Ning Cheng shook his head. Not to mention that Lanya had warned him not to go to such a place. Even if Lanya had not reminded him, he would not go to such a place. This fellow named Jinghao seemed to have a celestial novice cultivation. So how could he still indulge in gambling? Jinghao. Ning Cheng thought of this name again and suddenly stopped. He seemed to have heard this name somewhere before. In just a short time, Ning Cheng remembered where he had heard the name Jinghao. Back in the graceful Star Mainland's Lu continent, Jinghao was a very famous figure. This person used to be the most outstanding disciple of the Kuan-Yin sect. But because he fell in love with a devil cultivator woman, he helped this devil cultivator woman. As a result, the Kuan-Yin sect was destroyed by the joint forces of several major sections. At that time, when he heard about this matter, Ning Cheng felt a great admiration for Jinghao. If it were him, and the woman he liked was being chased, no matter what her identity was, he would not hesitate to help her. Now that the Kuan-Yin sect had long since disappeared in the long river of history, it was unknown if this Jinghao was the same person who used to be in the Kuan-Yin sect. Thinking till here, Ning Cheng deliberately walked in front of the opposite party and cupped his fists before asking. This senior, I would like to ask if this senior knows about the Lu Continent's Kuan-Yin Academy? Even if Jinghao looked like he was in a sorry state, he was still a celestial novice cultivator. Therefore, Ning Cheng did not dare to act casually. Originally, this gray-robed man did not care about Ning Cheng, a puny cultivator in the plundering life realm. Even if he was kicked out of the casino, he was still a celestial novice powerhouse. Ning Cheng was just a puny plundering life realm cultivator. How could he even put him in his eyes? However, after hearing Ning Cheng's words, his entire body trembled, and he immediately stared at Ning Cheng with his mouth wide open. Ning Cheng did not need the other party to speak, to know that his guess was completely correct. This Jinghao was the most outstanding disciple of the Lu Continent's Kuan-Yin Academy. Jinghao, how do you know about the Lu Continent's Kuan-Yin Academy? Where did you come from? After a while, Jinghao asked eagerly. At this moment, Ning Cheng felt a few obscure spiritual consciousnesses sweep over his body. This spiritual consciousnesses definitely did not have any good intentions. Ning Cheng sighed. It looks like Jinghao had offended a powerhouse in the ocean gambling city. Yet he had looked for trouble to talk to Jinghao. Now he really did not know if he had stirred up trouble for himself or not. I'm sorry. Jinghao suddenly apologized to Ning Cheng, before he once again asked anxiously. Is the Kuan-Yin Academy still doing well? My master. Jinghao was not a fool. Seeing Ning Cheng's expression, he could already guess some of the results without even finishing his words. Ning Cheng did not conceal it. When I arrived at the Lu Continent, I had never seen the Kuan-Yin Academy. I heard that a long time ago, the Kuan-Yin Academy had been destroyed by several major academies. Chapter 486. Destroyed. I harmed the sect, I harmed master, it's all my fault. Jinghao muttered to himself for a long time, and even forgot to speak to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng shook his head and turned away, not continuing to talk to Jinghao. Previously, he heard that Jinghao dared to fight against the entire Lu Continent for the woman he loved. Ning Cheng felt that this person was a good person, which made him feel a bit of sympathy. After a few words with Jing Hao, he felt that Jing Hao's character was a bit cowardly. If he knew about such a thing, he would have definitely found a way to go back and wipe out all the sects that destroyed the Kuan-Yun sect. Just like the Red Star Sword faction that had swaggered over the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. However, at this time, he had already destroyed the Red Star Sword faction. Wait a minute. Jing Hao reacted and caught up to Ningcheng. Ningcheng cupped his fists and spoke. Is there anything else, senior? Just call me Jing Hao from now on. I don't know how long it has been since I last saw someone from the graceful Star mainland. We are also from the same hometown. Can we sit together for a while? Jing Hao's eyes showed a hint of expectation. Ningcheng could see the loneliness deep in his heart from his eyes. Only in the starry skies would people treat people from another planet as their hometown. Okay. Ningcheng knew that regardless of whether he sat down with Jing Hao or not, someone would definitely notice him later. In that case, he might as well ask about the matter, lest he carry a black pot that he did not need to carry. Jing Hao led Ningcheng into a small rest stop and beckoned to the waiter. 2 pots of none to depend on. After that, he seemed to have remembered something and quickly whispered to Ningcheng. Do you have any black coins? None to depend on wine is not cheap. A pot costs 100,000 black coins. I don't have a single coin on me. Ningcheng nodded. He still had some money. Not to mention the 100 million black coins on him. He even had a pile of blue essence stone Oregon. A moment later, the waiter brought in 2 dark gray wine pots. Ningcheng picked up one of the wine pots and saw a row of words written on it. Often apart, not abandoning the heart, distant stargazing, none to depend on. Often apart, not abandoning the heart, distant stargazing, none to depend on. Jing Hao muttered to himself before opening the wine pot and taking a big gulp. This guy couldn't have fallen out of love, right? Ningcheng immediately thought of the demoness, but he also did not ask about this kind of thing, as he also opened the jug and took a sip. The wine was not strong. It was like a continuous stream that moisturized the throat. To be honest, Ningcheng did not really like this kind of wine. He preferred to drink it with a stronger intensity. It was like a fire burning in the mouth, and when it entered the chest, it would stimulate one's heroic spirit. However, Ningcheng soon realized the horrors of the none to depend on wine. Although he was drinking wine, it gave rise to a sentimental feeling. It was as if he really had no one to rely on. And a kind of sorrow of parting welled up in his heart. He seemed to be standing on a lonely boat, and the lonely boat was about to go far away along the endless river. In the pavilion by the river, Luofei and Qianghua held hands as they silently looked at him. That kind of gaze that looked forward to his early return made him feel a kind of burning in his heart. This kind of feeling was even more torturous and violent than when a knife was being burned. Often apart, the heart does not abandon. Distant stargazing, none to depend on. No, Ningcheng suddenly stood up. He did not want to gaze at the distant stargazing. Alas, it seems that this friend is also a sentimental person like me. This none to depend on wine is the worst kind. If it were a cyan wine bottle containing the none to depend on wine, you would have already sunk into it, never to wake up again. Jing Hao spoke with a sigh. Ningcheng felt a chill run down his spine and sobered up. He had just drunk a wine. Many thanks for Brother Jing's reminder. Ningcheng cupped his fists towards Jing Hao in gratitude. He felt that his mind was not very firm, and his state of mind was far from perfect. Otherwise, how could he lose his composure just because of a mouthful of wine? Just as Jing Hao said, in the endless starry skies in the future, Ningcheng did not know how many things would challenge his state of mind. If he could not even maintain his state of mind after drinking a mouthful of wine, what would happen to him in the future? Good. No wonder you can come to the Lesser Thunderstar at the Plundering Life realm. Not bad. I haven't asked this friend's name yet. Jing Hao's eyes showed a hint of appreciation, and his face no longer showed the decadence and desolation of being trampled under someone's feet. Ningcheng's heart moved. He felt that although Jing Hao's performance on the street was genuine, it also contained a bit of pretense. He calmly cupped his fists and spoke. My name is Ningcheng. I was accidentally brought here by a senior with a celestial gatherer cultivation. Lanya's cultivation had yet to reach the celestial gatherer realm. Ningcheng said those words because he felt that it would not be difficult for Lanya to advance to the celestial gatherer realm. At the same time, he also wanted to bring up a backer. Brother Ning, everyone has their own story. You must have your own story to tell since you came here. I won't ask for your story. I just want to tell you my story. If you think that I'm not worth wasting your time, I won't blame you. Jinghao spoke until here before taking another big gulp of mo depend on wine. Her name is Shi Yulan, the most beautiful woman I have ever seen in my life. For her, I can abandon everything, even if she is a devil cultivator. Ningqing knew that Jinghao was talking about him and that witch, but he did not feel impatient. There was no harm in listening to such things. She killed several important disciples of the major 9-star academies. However, I still stood on her side and brought her to the academy. It was a very secretive thing. However, I don't know how someone found out about it. Several major 9-star academies joined forces with the rest of the big and small academies to crusade against my Kuan-Yun Academy. My master, in order to protect me, secretly sent me away, haha. Jinghao laughed, grabbed the wine pot and gulped down a few mouthfuls of none to depend on wine. However, his eyes filled with tears. Today, I realized that I not only lost my master, but also my academy, countless fellow apprentice brothers, apprentice sisters. I'm not a human. I'm not even as good as a beast. Huh? Ningqing remained silent. He guessed that after Jinghao left the academy, he might have entered Heaven's Way with Shi Yulan. As for how he came to the Lesser Thunder Star, Ningqing did not intend to ask. Before this, he also did not know that he would come to the Lesser Thunder Star. If he were in this position, what would he do? Ningqing silently asked himself. However, he soon got the answer. If he knew that his sect would end up destroyed, he would never escape alone, not to mention that he had such a respectable master. Ningqing did not despise Jinghao because of this. Although Jinghao seemed to be in dire straits, it most likely had something to do with his mentality. Otherwise, no matter how bad a celestial novice cultivator was, he would not end up being trampled on the streets. She and I relied on a weapon to rush into the Yixing Ocean's heavenly astral space. However, we accidentally got sucked into a spatial collapse. When we came out, we were already in the starry skies. Hearing this, Ningqing felt extremely shocked. It was not because Jinghao and Shi Yulan could enter the heavenly astral space. Rather, it was because the two of them did not die after getting sucked into the spatial collapse and even managed to reach the starry skies. One had to know that even with Lanya's celestial shatterer cultivation, she almost died in a spatial collapse. What kind of weapon did Jinghao use? It was so powerful. Brother Jing, I heard from the Celestial Gatherer Senior, who brought me here that it would be very difficult to survive a spatial collapse. Ningqing did not directly ask about the weapon Jinghao relied on. However, these words also showed his doubts. If Jinghao did not answer, he would not continue to ask about it. This kind of thing was a secret to everyone. Jinghao put up a soundproof restriction around them and gave out a sigh before speaking. Brother Ning, I did not intend to hide it from you. That is a world. Is I in a chance to get a chance? My cultivation method was able to sweep the entire Yixing mainland because of that world. Miniature world. Ningqing thought that he already had a miniature world, which was no different from an ordinary ring. He had relied on the mysterious yellow bead to survive the spatial collapse, not the miniature world. Jinghao shook his head. It's not a miniature world, it's a true spirit world. When I obtained this world, it indicated that it was a true spirit world. At that time, we entered a spatial collapse of a low-leveled interface. Once we entered a spatial collapse of a high-leveled interface, I estimate that the true spirit world would not be able to survive. Ningqing frowned but did not ask again. This was the first time he had heard of a true spirit world. After entering the starry skies, I gave her the true spirit world. Later, we ended up on the Lesser Thunder Star and came to the Ocean Gambling City. In the Ocean Gambling City, I tried my best to find resources for her to cultivate. There were too many powerhouses in the Lesser Thunder Star, and almost all of the cultivation resources on the planet had been plundered by others. As such, I could only head to the starry skies to look for resources. One time, I found some fire-attributed origin. Since she originally had a fire-attributed spiritual root, this trace of origin allowed her to advance by leaps and bounds, and her cultivation far surpassed mine. When Ningqing heard this, he could not help but interrupt Jing Hao's words. Brother Jing, did you find a fire-attributed origin? Initially in the Angry Axe Valley, he had found a trace of water-attributed origin aura. As a result, through this trace of water-attributed origin aura, he found the water origin bead, which allowed his mysterious yellow bead to gain a trace of water-attributed origin. Did Jing Hao mention the fire origin? Was it related to the fire origin bead? Yes, it must be the fire origin. Because she obtained a trace of the fire origin, she spent almost all of her time in seclusion. As such, the words between us gradually decreased. I continued to earn blue coins in the starry skies, and exchanged them for some cultivation resources for her to go into seclusion. When she came out, she already had a celestial shatterer cultivation, while my domain had yet to reach grand completion. Jing Hao drank all the wine in the pot in a self-deprecating manner, and his eyes gradually turned cloudy. Later, a big shot came to the ocean gambling city. He was a celestial river king. He and Shi Yulan unexpectedly fell in love at first sight. Haha, love at first sight. Jing Hao shook the empty pot and suddenly shouted, "Buddy, another pot of none to depend on." Did you know? When she left with that celestial river king, she thanked me for taking care of her all these years. Thank me? Jing Hao laughed while crying. Chapter 487. Ningqing remained silent. He did not know how to comfort Jing Hao. Jing Hao had paid a lot for Shi Yulan. Ningqing did not expect that after the two of them went through so many hardships and arrived here, Shi Yulan unexpectedly abandoned Jing Hao and found a celestial river king. He did not express his opinion because he had never met Shi Yulan. As such, he had no idea what kind of person Shi Yulan was. However, with Ningqing's experience in the true cultivator world, even if he and Jing Hao came from the same planet, Jing Hao would not treat him with such sincerity. Obviously, Jing Hao had something to ask him for help. However, it had stirred up his emotions and was just venting it out. In that case, why didn't Brother Jing leave the ocean gambling city to fight for it? Why did you stay here? Ningqing asked. He wanted to ask about the fire origin, but he knew that now was not the time. Jing Hao finally recovered from his sad feelings, and picked up the second pot of wine that the waiter had just brought over, and took a sip before giving out a sigh. It's not that I didn't want to leave, but I couldn't leave at all. After Yulan left, I became so depressed that I ended up being instigated to enter the casino to forget some of the things that I did not want to remember. Ningqing noticed that this was the first time Jing Hao had addressed Yulan as such. Previously, he had referred to her as such. I owe billions of blue coins to the casino, and the deadline for repayment is approaching. I have been frantically trying to repay these blue coins over the years. After so many years, there are still hundreds of millions of blue coins that I have yet to pay off, alas. Ningqing asked in doubt, since there are still hundreds of millions of blue coins, can't you just pay them off? Jing Hao shook his head. The deadline is approaching, and there are only a few months left. If I can't pay off these blue coins before the deadline, I will become a slave and be mortgaged to others. From then on, there would no longer be a Jing Hao between the heavens and earth, only a slave with the same name. Ningqing turned silent. He had heard Lanya talk about the horrors of becoming a slave. I went to the casino to try my luck, but every time I failed to win back those blue coins, I ended up losing more and more. When Jing Hao spoke until here, Ningqing finally understood why Jing Hao wanted to go to the casino. If replaced with him, he estimated that other than going to the casino, he would not be able to earn hundreds of millions of blue coins in just a few months. This was simply a desperate gamble. So I want to ask you to do me a favor. After Jing Hao finished this sentence, Ningqing finally understood what the other party wanted him to do. It was to borrow money. He also could not come up with hundreds of millions of blue coins. Ningqing spoke up with an apologetic tone. Brother Jing, I really want to help you, but I do not have so many blue coins. I still have 100 million black coins on me, which is still a far cry from the amount you requested. Jing Hao's eyes flashed with a fiery glow as he spoke. Brother Ning, I just need you to lend me some black coins. I will definitely win back my capital in the casino. Ning Cheng was somewhat speechless as he spoke. Brother Jing, it's not that I don't believe in your gambling skills. As far as I know, it is absolutely impossible to make a fortune by gambling. Every gambler's road is a history of blood and tears of regret. I don't recommend you to gamble. Think about it, if casinos don't make money, how can they open casinos? Jing Hao stood up, grabbed Ning Cheng's clothes and spoke. Brother Ning, big brother Ning, please help me with this. I know that gambling does not end well, but I do not have a second path to take other than this one. If I don't pay back the money, then in a few months, I would end up as a slave. I would have no way out. Besides, the casino only takes a commission, and the casino itself does not participate in gambling. Entering gambling is entirely based on luck. Ning Cheng sneered. He did not even bother to answer Jing Hao. The casino does not participate in gambling, and only takes a commission. Who was he trying to deceive? He came from Earth and had seen too many of these kinds of things. Jing Hao had lived for thousands of years more than him. However, most of his time was spent on cultivation, or rather, he disdained to research and inquire about such things. Well, I won't try to persuade you. I still have 100 million black coins here. You can have it all. You don't have to talk about returning it. Ning Cheng took out the black coin card and handed it to Jing Hao. He had something to ask Jing Hao. As such, these 100 million black coins were nothing to him. Jing Hao took the black coin card and bowed towards Ning Cheng before speaking. Thank you, Brother Ning. Regardless of whether I succeed or not, I will always remember Brother Ning's kindness. It's not much, Brother Jing doesn't have to take it to heart. Ning Cheng quickly replied in a polite manner. These 100 million black coins were only equivalent to 1,000,000 blue coins, which was not much. Ning Cheng knew that the immortal cave he lived in cost about 1,000,000 blue coins a year. Jing Hao nodded and no longer remained polite. After putting away the black coins, he once again activated a soundproof restriction and spoke. Brother Ning, before we part ways, I want to tell you one thing. When I obtained the fire origin, there was also a fire origin bead. That trace of origin originated from the origin bead. However, my cultivation was too low at that time, so I couldn't touch the fire origin bead. Ning Cheng's heart suddenly started pounding. He had planned to ask Jing Hao where he found the fire origin, but he did not expect that Jing Hao would take the initiative to speak about it. Moreover, what surprised him even more was that there really was a fire origin bead there. After she obtained that trace of origin, she immediately went into seclusion. At that time, I thought that once her cultivation reached a high enough level, I would tell her about it. There is no need to tell her about it now. Here is a starry sky jade strip map, the place where I found the fire origin bead. I drew it in great detail, so I will now give it to you. Jing Hao took out a jade strip and handed it to Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng subconsciously took the jade strip. Although Jing Hao took the initiative to give it to him, it made him feel ashamed instead. This, Brother Jing, I know about the origin. Its value is simply immeasurable. The value of the origin bead is even more immeasurable. I really want this kind of thing, but I have been out here all year round making money, looking for all kinds of cultivation resources, and do not have any friends. You are also my only friend. The first time we met, you lent me 100 million black coins, knowing that I might not be able to pay it back. Giving this thing to you, I would feel the most satisfied in my heart. Jing Hao spoke with a sigh. That fire origin bead, he originally wanted to give it to Yulan, but unfortunately, she abandoned him. He found a mountain of gold, but he just scraped a trace of gold powder from the mountain of gold, and brought it back to her, when she kicked him away. Ning Cheng did not know what kind of mood she would have when she found out that he still had a mountain of gold there. Brother Jing, with this jade strip, you can exchange it for tens of billions of blue coins anywhere. Ning Cheng slowly spoke. Jing Hao showed a self-deprecating smile. Brother Ning, you're just too tender. Do you think that I can exchange this jade strip for blue coins? If I took it out, it would be the same as throwing away my life. No one would take the initiative to give me 10 billion blue coins just because I took out a jade strip. He would take me to the place where the fire origin bead is, and after obtaining it, he would then kill me. Besides, I found this fire origin bead after going through a lot of hardships. I will not let these vampires take advantage of it. Brother Ning, we both come from the Yixing mainland, and I can see that you and I are the same kind of people. I have a metal-attributed main spiritual root, so I don't need that thing. I am willing to give it to you. In that case, Ningcheng thanks Brother Jing for the gift. Ningcheng put away the jade strip, stood up and bowed towards Jinghao. He truly felt grateful towards Jinghao. The origin bead was just too important to him. Moreover, he could see that Jinghao's tone was very sincere, indicating that Jinghao did not lie to him. Ningcheng was a person who would respect others tenfold. Not to mention that the origin bead was not something that could be measured in terms of value. If one used blue coins, then even if one filled the entire ocean gambling city, one would not be able to purchase the fire origin bead. He had not yet spoken when Jinghao took out the location of the origin bead. This made Ningcheng make up his mind that if Jinghao could not use the 100 million black coins to win, then he would take out the pile of blue coins in his ring. Giving was a mutual thing. Ningcheng did not have the idea of taking advantage of others without giving anything in return. Jinghao laughed and drank the second pot in one gulp. The sadness in his eyes and face from before had completely disappeared, as if the sad person from a moment ago was not him at all. Ningcheng, you should go back and cultivate well. Your cultivation is too low. You should at least reach the Celestial Gatherer realm before you can go to that place. I'm going to the casino. Regardless of success or failure, I will give it a try. Whether you regard me as a friend or not, I already regard you as a friend. Brother Jing, I'll accompany you to the casino. Ningcheng also drank a mouthful of wine on the table and spoke up calmly. Jinghao looked at Ningcheng in doubt. I can see that you are a person who hates gambling. Why would you want to accompany me? I do hate gambling, but I do not hate Brother Jing. I don't have many friends, but since Brother Jing regards me as a friend, then Brother Jing is also this Ningcheng's friend from now on. Ningcheng spoke with sincerity. He truly did not have many friends. Apart from Taishu Shi and Song Wei, there were very few people who could truly become his bosom friends. Sun Hanrui and Liang Kersen were also his friends. However, they were both female cultivators. Ningcheng definitely felt that there were some people targeting Jinghao. However, since he regarded Jinghao as a friend, he did not care about it. The friend he wanted to make was not the icing on the cake, but the charcoal in the snow. Similarly, he also hoped that he would not be the icing on the cake, but the charcoal in the snow. Well, from now on, there will no longer be a person called Jinghao in this world. I will be called Jing Wuming from now on. Jinghao did not expect that Ningcheng would still treat him as a friend even though he knew that it would be troublesome to associate with him. Previously, when the two of them entered the rest stop to drink together, although it affected Ningcheng, it was not too big of a deal. As long as Ningcheng could explain it clearly, then no one would go against a cultivator in the plundering life realm. Because the reason why he and Ningcheng came together was because they wanted to borrow money. But now that Ningcheng accompanied him to the casino, it was completely different. This meant that they would advance and retreat together. He and Ningcheng had the same thoughts, that Ningcheng was a friend worth making. A true friend would only meet in the midst of adversity, not the kind of person who could share the glory and splendor, but not the hardships. At this moment, he realized that for countless years, when he had focused all his energy on that woman, he had missed out on many wonderful things. Friend, it was such a warm title, and now he also had one. Ningcheng also understood the meaning behind Jinghao's words. He just wanted to change his name and forget all about his past. He would rather be a nameless person. Chapter 488. The Ocean Gambling's premier casino was truly worthy of its name. In the entire Ocean Gambling City, there was not a second casino that could compare to the scale of this one. Ningcheng followed Jinghao through the entrance of the casino. Only then did he realize how luxurious it was inside. After Ningcheng came in, the first feeling he got was that it was very lively, and the second feeling he got was that it was very orderly. Even if there were so many people gambling here, it would not make people feel that it was messy. The entire hall of the casino was divided into different areas. Ning Cheng's eyes swept around and found that each area had a different gambling method. There were all kinds of private rooms around the casino, and the staircase leading to the second floor was also guarded. Jing Hao, you sure have guts. I told you to fuck off, yet you still dared to come here. The brown-haired man, who had previously stepped on Jing Wuming's feet, suddenly appeared in front of Jing Wuming and Ning Cheng. Deacon Tung, can't I return the money? Jing Wuming calmly stared at the brown-haired man in front of him and spoke. The brown-haired man looked at Jing Wuming up and down in doubt, before looking at Ning Cheng behind Jing Wuming. He then sneered and spoke. I was wondering why you had the money to pay it back. It turns out that you caught an idiot. As the brown-haired man finished, he turned his head towards Ning Cheng and called out. Kid, this father will tell you, in the ocean gambling city, no one would dare to threaten you. You do not need to be scared to the point of immediately throwing out your pitiful little money. This brown-haired man was also a celestial novice cultivator. However, Ning Cheng did not want to cause any trouble and did not answer his question. Seeing that Ning Cheng did not answer his words, the brown-haired man gave a cold snort and did not continue to pay attention to Ning Cheng. His original plan was that once Ning Cheng dared to refute him, he would immediately teach Ning Cheng a lesson. But now that Ning Cheng did not reply, he could not do anything about it. First, pay back the 10 million black coins, and then get the hell out of here. The brown-haired man spoke to Jing Wuming without any trace of politeness. Jing Wuming ignored the brown-haired man and took Ning Cheng directly to the chip counter. After returning 10 million black coins, he exchanged them for 9 chips worth 10 million black coins each. Although the brown-haired man wanted to continue finding trouble with Jing Wuming's actions made him feel helpless. Now that Jing Wuming paid off the debt, if he were to look for trouble with Jing Wuming, then he would only end up troubling himself. Brother Jing, this brown-haired fellow seems to be deliberately targeting you. Ning Cheng spoke with a sound transmission. Jing Wuming made a gesture and sent a sound transmission. I will tell you about this later if there is an opportunity. Right now, let's go all out. Before coming here, Ning Cheng had already heard Jing Wuming talk about several types of gambling methods. Putting everything on the line did not mean putting everything on the line. Rather, it was a gambling method, also known as gambling array. This kind of gambling was similar to mahjong, but it was simpler. There were 4 people gambling with a total of 108 cards, and each card had a certain amount of spiritual qi. This kind of card was also called a flag card and could be used as an array flag. When gambling, each person would draw 12 cards and form a flag array. 12 cards with different spiritual energies were 12 array flags, and they could form countless array formations. These spirit chi cards were divided into 1-line spirit chi flag cards to 99-line spirit chi flag cards according to the different spirit chi. Moreover, every time these 108 cards were shuffled, the spiritual chi lines would change. Even if the 4 of them used their own array flag cards to form the same array formation, because of the different spirit chi cards used in each position, the final compatibility of the array formation would be different. This did not mean that the more powerful the spirit chi, the higher the value of the flag. Different positions would require completely different amounts of spirit chi. The final winner would, of course, be the array formation with the highest compatibility. However, the most attractive thing about this array formation was not this, but the exchange of flags. After the 4 people drew 12 cards, they would not immediately take out their own array formation. Instead, they would put out a flag card that they felt did not have much use for. Then, just like playing mahjong, they would take out the remaining flags on the table. If the other party also felt that the flag you put out was useless, they would generally ignore it. However, if someone felt that the flag you put out was useful to them, they would immediately take it back and exchange it for another one. If the flag you put out happened to be the one that the other party needed to arrange the most suitable array formation, then the other party could immediately spread out their own array formation. As long as the other party did not have a more powerful array formation, then the one who spread out the array formation would win. This gambling method did not depend on the level of array formation, because this kind of low-level array formation would not be able to show its level. Rather, it depended on how to use the conditions in front of them to form the most compatible array formation. As for the strength of the array formation's compatibility, the gambling table would give an exact score. Just like diving, there was a degree of difficulty and a degree of quality of completion. This was what gambling was all about. Jing Wuming quickly found a place, and Ning Cheng sat down next to Jing Wuming. In this place, one could not use spiritual consciousness at all. On the surface, it looked like Jing Wuming said that there was no problem of cheating. However, Ning Cheng did not think so. As long as it was a casino, there was no such thing as fairness. After playing a few cards, Ning Cheng became very clear about this gambling method. Out of the 9 chips Jing Wuming had, only 4 remained. So far, Jing Wuming had only won once. Moreover, he had only won a small amount of money. Because of the one time he won, the array formation he arranged was barely better than the other 3 people. Although Jing Wuming remained calm, Ning Cheng could feel the anxiety and uneasiness in his heart. With another 12 flags in hand, Ning Cheng could see that Jing Wuming's flags this time were quite good. As long as he had a 9-line kin flag, it would be a perfect concealing moon array. Even if he did not wait for this kin flag, Jing Wuming's concealing moon array would definitely win. Jing Wuming obviously did not want to win a small amount of money. As such, he just kept waiting. Ning Cheng also understood Jing Wuming's mood. It was not easy to encounter a perfect array formation within gambling arrays. Do not look at the tens of millions of black coins he would lose every time he won or lost. Once he obtained a perfect array formation, he would be able to win more than 2 billion black coins at once, which was equivalent to a flower blossoming. Jing Wuming did not wait in vain. When the opposite cultivator threw out the 9-line kin flag for the 6th time, Jing Wuming immediately grabbed the flag and put it on his array formation. Pushing it with both hands, he spoke with a smile. Perfect concealing moon array, 800 million black coins per person. What kind of card did you just take back? Contrary to Jing Wuming's expectations, the 3 people on the opposite side did not show as much annoyance as he had imagined, nor did they happily hand over the black coins. Instead, they stared at Jing Wuming with cold eyes. 9-line spiritual chi kin card, the one you just played. Jing Wuming took out the 9-line kin card from the concealing moon array. The cultivator laughed and suddenly spoke up in a loud voice. What I just threw out was clearly a 12-line kin card. This 9-line kin card was thrown out from the start. Do you want to cheat? Deacon Tung, someone is cheating. In fact, without waiting for the cultivator to call out, the brown-haired man had already walked over with a grin. Jing Wuming's heart sank. He knew that it was over. Once he was caught cheating, he would only end up in a dead end. Most importantly, he had also pulled Ning Cheng in. Cheating in this kind of casino, turning into minced meat, was already a good thing. At this time, how could he not know that these 3 people were also on the same side as Deacon Tung? In such a situation, he did not want to refute it. If the other party had allowed him to refute it, they would not have done such a thing to him. He suddenly stood up and spoke. Ning Cheng is just a card reader. This has nothing to do with him. Let him out. Seeing that Jing Wuming still wanted to speak, Ning Cheng pulled Jing Wuming back and spoke. Don't speak anymore, let me do it. Haha, Jing Hao, you really are looking for death. You are so poor that you dare to cheat in our place. I will make sure that you won't even be able to beg for death. The brown-haired man laughed wildly. Because he was too proud of himself, he forgot that this place was a casino. Many eyes swept over, causing the brown-haired man to quickly restrain his smile and speak with cupped fists. Everyone, please don't mind me. My voice was a bit loud just now. Sorry. My friend doesn't want the money he won. We need to leave now. Ning Cheng saw that the brown-haired man wanted to say something, and immediately spoke up in front of him. Leave. Are you still daydreaming? The brown-haired man had not finished his words when Ning Cheng took out a crystal ball and put it in the hands of the brown-haired man and spoke. I only have one of these crystal balls. Can you see if we can leave? The brown-haired man grabbed the crystal ball and immediately saw the situation on the gambling table. Jing Hao had not cheated. He had clearly won. Kid, you really are something. The brown-haired man crushed the crystal ball in his hands and spoke while staring at Ning Cheng. A trivial plundering life realm cultivator, coming to the casino for the first time, yet still had such a scheming mind, knowing to record the crystal ball in advance. Of course, he did not believe that Ning Cheng only had one. He also understood the meaning behind Ning Cheng's words, that is to let them go and let this matter pass. If he did not let them go, then this crystal ball would definitely not be the only one. The casino certainly had a detailed surveillance video, but for him, as long as Jing Hao did not have it, then he would not care about what he said. Now that Jing Hao had actually recorded it with a crystal ball, it made him feel helpless. If he really dared to shed all pretense of cordiality, then this plundering life realm kid would directly take out the crystal ball, which would completely ruin the reputation of the casino. Kid, you are ruthless, get the fuck out of here. If you let me see something bad, or hear something bad, then just wait for me. The brown-haired man roared at Ning Cheng with hatred. Let's go. Ning Cheng pulled Jing Wuming, who was still standing on the side, and quickly left the casino. Only after leaving the casino did Jing Wuming give out a sigh. Brother Ning, this time it's all thanks to you. I really am too. He had also glanced at the crystal ball that Ning Cheng had taken out, and of course understood why the brown-haired man had let them go. No wonder Ning Cheng could come to the Lesser Thunder Star with the cultivation of plundering life realm, and even come out safe and sound. Compared to Ning Cheng, he was simply too far behind. He also knew that Ning Cheng could only choose to leave at that time. If this matter turned into a mess, then with their strength, it would only end up as a dead end. Brother Ning, I am ready to accept my fate. If you have the ability in the future, then come to the Ocean Gambling City to see if I am still alive. Alas, forget it. Jing Wuming had not finished his words when he gave out another long sigh. Ning Cheng patted Jing Wuming's shoulder. Brother Jing, don't worry, I will help you. As for that brown-haired fellow, if he thinks that this matter is over, then he is truly blind. The brown-haired male cultivator would never have thought that the video of him threatening Ning Cheng had also been recorded by Ning Cheng. For Ning Cheng, he currently did not have the strength to teach this brown-haired fellow a lesson. However, as long as he continued to cultivate, one day he would definitely come back to get his face back. It wasn't his personality to swallow a loss. Chapter 489. Brother Jing, where do you live? Ning Cheng asked while simultaneously putting all of the blue essence stone, or into an empty ring. Jing Wuming spoke up in a desolate voice. Where would I find a place to live? I can only stay in the Ocean Gambling City for a day, waiting for the day when I become a slave. Don't worry about it. There are some blue essence stone mines here. If your debt does not exceed 1 billion blue coins, then these blue essence stone mines should be enough. Ning Cheng spoke while handing over the ring in his hand to Jing Wuming. Jing Wuming received the ring in a daze. After a few moments, he spoke up in shock. Brother, are you saying that I can pay off my debts? Not waiting for Ning Cheng to answer, his spiritual consciousness swept towards the large pile of blue essence stone ore inside the ring, causing him to immediately speak out in surprise. I'm finally alive, I'm alive. Seeing Jing Wuming sober up and wanting to thank him, Ning Cheng raised his hand and stopped him. Brother Jing, you don't have to say any unnecessary words. Just go and pay off your debt. There is also a jade slip in the ring, which is my residence. After you pay off your debt, come to my residence and cultivate in seclusion. My strength is still too low. I need to go back and cultivate in seclusion. As for getting back at this place, we'll talk about that later. Jing Wuming nodded and did not speak. For a celestial novice cultivator, 1 billion blue coins was nothing. But to him, it was a matter of life and death. No matter how precious the fire origin bead was, he had only provided a location. He had not actually taken out the fire origin bead. Ning Cheng was a plundering life realm cultivator, yet he was able to take out so many blue essence ores at once. Moreover, to help him to such a degree, it showed that he was definitely doing his best. It was his luck to have such a friend. Inside a room in the Ocean Gambling's premier casino, the brown-haired male cultivator, who had previously opposed Ning Cheng and Jing Wuming, stood in front of a beautiful woman. You said that Jing Hao has already paid off his debt. In other words, after a few months, you won't need to be a slave anymore? The beautiful woman's tone was cold, with a trace of sharp killing intent. Yes, he took out a pile of blue essence stones to pay off the debt. It should have been given to him by that kid called Ning Cheng. For a plundering life realm ant to take out so many blue essence stones, That kid was not simple. Moreover, that kid is also very scheming, otherwise, I would have been able to kill Jinghao that time. The brown-haired male cultivator replied with a respectful tone. Forget it, Celestial River King Shang Mao should not remember such a trivial matter. Consider that Jinghao's luck. Right, where does that person called Ningqing live? Why would he help Jinghao? The beautiful woman asked again. The brown-haired male cultivator had apparently investigated Ningqing's residence. When the beautiful woman asked about it, he immediately replied, that plundering life realm ant was brought here by a celestial shatterer cultivator, and lives in the Tier Immortal Cave district. Currently, Jinghao also lives in the Immortal Cave rented by Ningqing and changed his name to Jing Wuming. The beautiful woman frowned for a moment, and after a good while she spoke. The Tier Immortal's Cave district is not something that we can intervene in. You have to pay attention to it. They will eventually have to leave the ocean gambling city. Also, don't go overboard with the gambling rules in the casino. Otherwise, it won't be good for our casino. That's all. You can leave now. Yes. After the brown-haired male cultivator replied, he quickly bowed and left. Brother Xiaocheng, after paying off my debts, I feel completely relaxed. I estimate that as long as I go into seclusion for a few more years, I would be able to break through the Celestial Novice realm and advance to the Celestial Shatterer realm. In Ningqing's immortal cave, Jing Wuming's face was filled with joy, without even a shred of decadence. Even Ningqing could feel that his essence, qi and spirit had undergone a huge change. A person's spirit truly had a close relationship with their cultivation. Brother Jing. Xiaocheng, just call me Wuming from now on. We brothers are too polite with each other. Jing Wuming immediately raised his hand and stopped Ningqing from addressing him. In fact, in his heart, he felt that his qualifications should be much better than Ningqing's. Now that the shackles on his body had been removed, and he no longer had any other thoughts, his cultivation would definitely advance very quickly. In the future, it would only grow further and further apart from Ningqing. Moreover, he did not want to lose Ningqing as a friend, so he simply called him by his name. It would also prevent Ningqing from acting respectful towards him as his cultivation improved in the future. As for the name Ning Xiaocheng, he had specifically asked Ningqing about it. Therefore, he chose to address him casually out of this consideration. Ningqing did not care about it. Not to mention that Jing Wuming was only a celestial novice cultivator. Even if Jing Wuming became a celestial river king in the future, he would not feel as constrained as Jing Wuming thought he would be. Okay, I don't know much about Starry Sky's cultivation. Can you tell me about it? Ningqing had wanted to ask Lanya about this matter. However, he and Lanya only had a mutually beneficial relationship, and had not yet risen to the point where he could ask about the other party's cultivation methods, and some cultivation experiences. Naturally, even if you don't say it, I would have told you about it. You are currently in the plundering life realm. After surmounting the tribulation in the plundering life realm, you would then advance to the domain realm. Once you reach the domain realm, your cultivation will begin to grow stronger. After you reach the domain realm, I suggest that you go to the Ocean Gambling City's arena. There are many things that you would not be able to learn there. A cultivator's strength lies not only in his cultivation, but also in his attacks. The arena has all kinds of cultivators, and you can encounter all kinds of means. You will slowly grow in there. At that time, my essence, qi, and spirit had completely deteriorated, which is why I did not dare to go there. Jing Wuming's statement was the opposite of Lanya's. Lanya had initially advised him not to go to the arena, not to go to the brothels, and not to go to the casinos. But now the first place he and Jing Wuming went to was the casino, and Jing Wuming then advised him to go to the arena. However, Ningqing did not think that Jing Wuming was wrong, nor did he think that Lanya was wrong. Lanya knew that his cultivation was too low, and that going to the arena would only result in death. However, Jing Wuming had traveled from the graceful star mainland to the starry skies, and had experienced many life and death situations. He knew that if he did not face life and death, he would never be able to transcend life and death. Thinking of this, Ningqing suddenly understood Shi Yulan's thoughts. Shi Yulan and Jing Wuming had traveled together all the way to this place, and had experienced many life and death situations along the way. She was either afraid, tired of a life where she could die at any time, or tired of it. Even if Jing Wuming had given her a lot, this kind of life was not what she wanted. She wanted to live a stable life. However, now that she had come to the starry skies, could she live a stable life? Jing Wuming did not know what Ningqing was thinking and continued with a dignified voice. Xiaocheng, you might lose your life if you go to the arena. I suggest that you go. Otherwise, once you leave the ocean gambling city in the future, once you encounter danger, you would still lose your life. Speaking until here, Jing Wuming stood up and gave out a sigh. Since we chose this path, there is no turning back. Before I pay off my debts, I do not want to mention the name Shi Yulan. However, now that I think about it, she should be tired of living a precarious life with me. Maybe she doesn't want to be a burden to me. Seeing Jing Wuming speaking about Shi Yulan, Ningqing walked over to Jing Wuming's side and patted him on the shoulder. There are plenty of fish in the sea. Why would a real man worry about not having a wife? Haha, well said. Jing Wuming laughed and did not continue to talk about Shi Yulan. Letting you go to the arena, there is another benefit, that is, it can help you perfect your domain. It would be of great benefit to you when you cross the Nirvana tribulation in the future. After crossing the Nirvana tribulation, you will reach the 3 realms of celestial scryer, also known as the 3 realms of Nirvana. The first realm is the celestial novice realm, which allows you to understand a part of the starry skies laws and absorb the starry skies essence chi for cultivation, just like my current realm. With your current plundering life realm, you cannot understand the starry skies laws and can only absorb spiritual chi. Jing Wuming apparently did not know that Ningqing could absorb starry skies essence chi for cultivation, but Ningqing did not explain it. Since he did not know how to explain it, he chose not to explain it. After the celestial novice realm is the celestial shatterer realm. The celestial shatterer realm means that one can destroy and shatter an ordinary planet with their own abilities. Of course, I'm talking about planets with relatively weak heaven and earth laws. Such planets are not even comparable to the Yixing mainland. Generally, it is a small planet with no life and low-level laws. Jing Wuming feared that Ningqing did not understand it very well and explained in detail. After the celestial shatterer realm is the celestial gatherer realm. However, the celestial gatherer realm is many times more difficult than the celestial shatterer realm. The celestial gatherer realm relies on one's own powerful cultivation, using the fragments of the starry sky, or some other things, to condense a small planet. According to the level of each person's ability, the condensed planet can be either strong or weak. However, even the most powerful celestial gatherer cultivator cannot condense a life planet. Ningqing felt very interested in condensing a planet. Wuming, is it possible to condense a life planet in the celestial river's 3 realms, or the destiny's 3 realms? Jing Wuming shook his head. Otherwise, even a starry sky emperor cannot condense a life planet. Starry sky emperor? An existence with a cultivation even higher than a celestial river king? Ningqing only knew that celestial river kings had the highest cultivation. It was the first time he had heard of a starry sky emperor. Jing Wuming nodded. Yes, starry sky emperors, celestial lords and celestial river kings generally do not depend on cultivation, but rather on reaching a certain level of cultivation. The destiny's 3 realms are divided into the heaven-seated realm, the life and death realm, and the eternal realm. As long as one's cultivation reaches the heaven-seated realm, one can become a celestial river king. However, a starry sky emperor is at least an eternal existence. They control a starry sky, and with a wave of their hand, they can collapse the celestial river and reverse the flow of the star positions. Each of them is an existence with terrifying spirit powers. So strong. Ningqing sighed. He knew what a celestial river was equivalent to. It was equivalent to a small galaxy. As Jing Wuming spoke until here, he also felt a little lonely. In the vast universe, I do not know how many starry sky existences exist. Even if one cultivated to the starry sky emperor realm, what can one do in this vast universe? Haha, Wuming, the most indispensable thing for people is fighting spirit. If you don't even have fighting spirit, Thinking about other things would just be in vain. Who can be sure that we will not become starry sky emperors in the future? Will we not break through this starry sky in the future? Ningcheng did not feel depressed because there were too many powerhouses in the vast starry sky. Instead, he felt even more eager to reach the peak of the starry sky. Jing Wuming clenched his fists and laughed. That's right. Who can be sure that we brothers will not ascend to the position of starry sky emperor in the future? Chapter 490. That's right. Ningcheng smiled. In any case, Jing Wuming had already come out of the depression of losing Shi Yulan. Jing Wuming understood Ningcheng's meaning and spoke up. You rented this immortal cave for 10 years. After 10 years, I will be leaving the ocean gambling city. You should also leave with me. This is not a place for us to live. Ningcheng nodded. Of course I have to leave. I will not stay in this place for long. I'm not very familiar with the Lesser Thunder Star. Where do you want to go? Jing Wuming cautiously spoke up. If nothing unexpected happens, I will definitely advance to the Celestial Shatterer realm in 10 years. I signed up to participate in the Orchid Burrow Celestial River's Manluan Starry Skies tryouts. If selected, I might leave the Lesser Thunder Star. What is the Starry Sky tryouts? Ningcheng quickly asked. This is the Celestial Scryer Realm tryouts. The participants must be cultivators who have not formed a celestial bridge. Therefore, Celestial Novice, Celestial Shatterer and Celestial Gatherer cultivators can all participate. This tryout was not held by the Orchid Burrow Celestial River, but by the Striking Order Starry Skies. The Orchid Burrow Celestial River was just an unremarkable celestial river within the Striking Order Starry Skies. However, the Orchid Burrow Celestial River King attached great importance to it. If the Orchid Burrow Celestial River produces a truly talented cultivator, then the Striking Order Starry Skies Emperor will definitely reward the Orchid Burrow Celestial River. Wait! Ningcheng interrupted Jing Wuming's words. Wuming, are you saying that the tryouts will start from each planet, then the Celestial River, and finally the Striking Order Starry Skies? Yes, I heard that even the Starry Sky selection isn't the final. The most outstanding Nirvana cultivators could represent the Starry Sky and enter the vast universe to participate in the final competition. I don't know what the final prize for the competition would be, but as long as one could enter the Striking Order Starry Skies, or even the Orchid Burrow Celestial River, the reward would be an unimaginable wealth. My requirements are not very high. As long as I can leave the Orchid Burrow Celestial River, I will be satisfied. As Jing Wuming reached the end, his tone became even more impassioned. Apparently, he also wanted to achieve better results. Unfortunately, your cultivation is too low. Otherwise, if the two of us participated together, it would have been much more enjoyable. Jing Wuming couldn't help but give out a sigh as he thought of Ningcheng's cultivation. Jing Wuming wanted to advance to the Celestial Shatterer realm as soon as possible, while Ningcheng wanted to quickly improve his cultivation. As such, the two of them immediately went into secluded cultivation. After reaching the Plundering Life realm, Ningcheng's cultivation speed did not slow down by even half a step. Inside the Lesser Thunder Star, there were no bottlenecks in his cultivation. The only thing that mattered was whether he could absorb the Starry Sky's essence chi and transform it. The strength of the mysterious yellow formless was based on the mysterious yellow origin, while the mysterious yellow bead was the birthplace of the mysterious yellow origin. For Ningcheng, the cultivation conditions in this place were definitely the best. After 2 years of continuous seclusion, Ningcheng's cultivation finally reached the great circle of the 9th level of Plundering Life realm. After Ningcheng came out of seclusion, the first thing he did was to find Jing Wuming. He wanted to know if Jing Wuming had come out of seclusion. If Jing Wuming did not come out of seclusion, then he would quietly leave the Lesser Thunder Star to cross the tribulation. According to Jing Wuming, he would need at least a few years to advance to the Celestial Shatterer realm. However, Ningcheng did not see Jing Wuming and only saw a jade strip. Brother Xiaocheng, I have come out. Originally, I thought that it would take me 6 or 7 years to advance to the Celestial Shatterer realm. I didn't expect that I would have accumulated enough resources over the years. Moreover, I also managed to make a breakthrough in my state of mind. I actually managed to break through in just a little more than a year. When I come out of seclusion, you will still be in seclusion. Cultivate well. If I don't have time to come back within 10 years, I will have someone bring you some blue coins and bring you to the Thunder City. Wuming. Ningqing put away the jade strip. Ningqing knew about the Thunder City. It was the premier city of the Lesser Thunder Star. It was the city where the Celestial Lord resided. Since Jing Wuming went to the Thunder City, then he must have gone to participate in the Starry Skies tryouts. Ningqing changed his appearance and even changed his aura before carefully leaving the Ocean Gambling City. He was just a nobody who had come out of seclusion for a few years. As long as he did not make a high-profile appearance, the people in the casino would not pay any special attention to him. After coming out of the Ocean Gambling City, Ningqing did not look for a place to cross the tribulation. Instead, he brought out his 5-star battle disc and prepared to leave the Lesser Thunder Star and enter the Starry Skies. As for the reason why Ningqing chose to cross the tribulation in the Starry Skies, he had already considered it. He planned to immediately look for the Fire Origin bead after crossing the tribulation. Only by placing this thing inside the mysterious yellow bead would it be the most secure. Ningqing controlled the trashiest battleship to leave the Lesser Thunder Star without anyone noticing. Ningqing controlled the trashiest battleship to leave the Lesser Thunder Star without anyone noticing. The speed of the 5-star battle disc sifting orchid, compared to ordinary flight-type weapons, was already very fast. However, within the Starry Skies, the speed of this flight-type weapon could only be described with one word: slow. After flying for 2 months, Ningqing finally stopped on a barren broken meteorite. He decided to cross the tribulation here. For cultivators who had not yet advanced to the Celestial Novice Realm, as long as they could absorb the Starry Skies Essence Chi for cultivation, it would be much more powerful compared to the true cultivation world's rank 9 heavenly pills. In less than half a day, Ningqing attracted the domain Thunder Tribulation. As the lightning arcs continued to descend, Ningqing felt that something was missing. Ordinary cultivators would not be able to block this Thunder Tribulation. However, for Ningqing, this Thunder Tribulation was a bit weak. After a few waves of the Thunder Tribulation, the mysterious yellow origin suddenly became active and easily helped Ningqing break through the cultivation barrier of the plundering life realm, opening up a new domain. A brand new perception and feeling welled up in his heart, causing Ningqing to instantly forget about the Thunder Tribulation. At this moment, he felt that he had become the master of this universe, able to control everything with just a wave of his hand. The entire Starry Skies had become his, a space that he could freely change at will. No, this feeling was absolutely wrong. At the same time that Ningqing felt that something was wrong, his understanding of the mysterious yellow origin grew even clearer. Or rather, with the help of the mysterious yellow origin, he gained a much more thorough understanding of the realm he was in. This is a domain. This is his domain, Ningqing finally understood. His domain was completely different from what Lanya and Jing Wuming had told him. According to what Ningqing had heard, the domain realm was the process of forming a domain. A cultivator who had just entered the domain realm would not have a complete domain. Cultivators had to wait until their domain reached completion before they could begin to cross the Nirvana Tribulation and advance to the Celestial Novice Realm, the true Starry Sky Realm. However, at this moment, Ningqing felt that his domain was gradually improving. He could even control the space within his domain realm and use his domain to arbitrarily bind everything around him. This was not the process of his domain reaching completion, but the scene of his domain reaching completion. What the hell was going on? Ningqing closed his eyes and immersed himself in his domain. As Ningqing immersed himself in his own domain, everything around him turned quiet. Only 1 or 2 meteorites occasionally whizzed past his head. Catcha. A thick lightning arc suddenly descended without any warning, breaking Ningqing's silence. Caught off guard, 2 thick lightning arcs directly struck Ningqing's chest. Ningqing was almost torn apart by these 2 lightning arcs. His bones completely deformed at this moment, while his chest tore open and spurted out blood. This kind of terrifying change suddenly woke Ningqing up. What was going on? Didn't he just cross the domain realm thunder tribulation? How could such a terrifying lightning arc still fall? Boom boom boom. Ningcheng did not even have the time to figure out what was going on, when dozens of similarly thick lightning arcs descended. The lightning arcs had not yet fallen on Ningcheng's body, but the terrifying aura caused Ningcheng to involuntarily feel fear. This was a thunder tribulation that wanted to take his life. It was definitely not something that any of the previous thunder tribulations could compare to. Ningcheng could no longer think about his domain, and suddenly brought out the everlasting blue thunder city. Bang bang bang. Since cultivating to the soul essence realm, Ningcheng had never felt like this. The everlasting blue thunder city had just been brought out when the lightning arcs smashed it to pieces. The remaining lightning arcs continued to bombard his body, causing large chunks of flesh and blood to fly out. His bones no longer deformed, but instead started to break apart inch by inch, while his internal organs started to explode. Ningcheng felt a kind of fear of death. Could it be that he would not be able to survive today? He brought out 36 cosmic true devil axes, brought out the flame beacon diagram, brought out the Nirvana spear, and even brought out the everlasting blue thunder city's shadow. Ka. The true devil axes shattered one after another. The flame beacon diagram turned into flying ash under the lightning arcs, the Nirvana spear blasted into the depths of the broken star, and the everlasting blue thunder city's shadow once again turned into nothingness. The powerful lightning arcs blasted Ningcheng into the ground, causing Ningcheng to be unable to even breathe. What the hell was going on? Within the endless starry skies, the next wave of thunder tribulation was still brewing. Ningcheng did not need to think about it to know that when the next wave of thunder tribulation descended, it would be the time of his death. He had a thunder spiritual root, which allowed him to absorb the thunder source for cultivation, and he also had the everlasting blue thunder city, which allowed him to absorb the thunder source. However, this thunder tribulation was too terrifying and too powerful. He simply could not resist it. No, this was not a domain realm thunder tribulation. This was a nirvana tribulation. Ningcheng suddenly understood. He had just advanced to the domain realm, and his domain realm had already reached the Great Circle. Under such powerful laws, he could directly start to cross the nirvana tribulation. After understanding the reason, Ningcheng's fighting spirit once again soared. He was afraid that he did not know the reason, but now that he knew that it was a nirvana tribulation, why would he fear it? What's more, he was also a body-forging cultivator. At this moment, Ningcheng crazily operated the mysterious yellow formless and the body-forging cultivation method. What made Ningcheng pleasantly surprised was that, after taking control of the surrounding domain, his cultivation began to rise once again, while his broken body also began to heal. Boom boom boom. Dense lightning arcs descended, but Ningcheng did not have the previous hesitation. What was there to be afraid of when the eggs were facing up? Nirvana, nirvana. How could one survive without nirvana? Ningcheng did not know if other people's nirvana tribulations were the same as his, but he could only think so. Although his corporeal body was broken and his bones were broken, Ningcheng's cultivation rose a lot after knowing that it was a nirvana tribulation. Once again bringing out the everlasting blue thunder city, Ningcheng forcibly pulled out the nirvana spear and placed it over his head. Ka. The everlasting blue thunder city once again shattered, while the nirvana spear was also blasted into the depths of the broken star. The remaining lightning arcs continued to fall on Ningcheng's body. The powerful thunder source and the essence chi within the starry skies converged, causing Ningcheng's breathing to stagnate. At the same time, it also caused Ningcheng's cultivation to rise crazily. The mysterious yellow origin also seemed to have gone crazy, overflowing within Ningcheng's body, as if it knew that its master was in trouble. Boom. A mysterious feeling broke through all the shackles, allowing Ningcheng to grasp it. At this moment, his sea of consciousness seemed to have turned into a starry sky. This kind of power made Ningcheng ecstatic. He knew that he was about to step into the celestial novice realm. Chapter 491. Boom boom boom. Another wave of thunder tribulation descended, This time Ning Cheng did not even have the time to bring out the everlasting Blue Thunder City. The only thing he could do was to crazily operate the mysterious yellow formless and the body-forging cultivation method. The massive amount of starry sky essence chi felt like a huge whirlpool as Ning Cheng sucked it in. Ning Cheng did not have the time to sigh at the might of absorbing the starry sky's essence chi at the celestial novice realm, when the thunder tribulation arcs continuously descended on his body. His already badly mutilated body was once again covered in blood and flesh, but what made Ning Cheng surprised was that this time his bones did not continue to break, rather under the influence of the body-forging cultivation method, they gradually repositioned and healed. Ning Cheng instantly understood the reason. The Nirvana Thunder Tribulation was indeed very powerful. However, after advancing to the Celestial Novice Realm, his cultivation had risen, allowing him to absorb the Thunder Source and cultivate his body-forging body. This Nirvana Thunder Tribulation seemed to be endless. Ning Cheng barely managed to form a balance with the Thunder Arc Swords, but he was not willing to bring out the everlasting Blue Thunder City. This was the best time for him to forge his body. Ning Cheng absorbed a large amount of starry sky essence chi, but Ning Cheng soon felt a little lost. When he was in the plundering life realm, if he could absorb such a massive amount of starry sky true essence, his cultivation would definitely improve continuously. But now his cultivation was only slowly stabilizing, and the situation of his cultivation soaring was no longer there. Ning Cheng also felt helpless. He knew what the reason was. The laws here were much more powerful compared to the true cultivation world. Coupled with the fact that his cultivation had yet to reach the celestial novice realm, he could absorb the starry sky's essence chi, which was much more effective compared to spiritual chi. This allowed his cultivation to rise rapidly. In just 3 years, he advanced from the late-stage crucible transformation realm to the full circle of the plundering life realm. However, now that he had a celestial novice cultivation, the effect of absorbing the starry sky's essence chi immediately deteriorated. In other words, compared to other cultivators, he had no advantage. If he wanted to maintain the same cultivation speed as before, he would have to find a place with higher quality starry sky essence chi, or use higher grade cultivation resources. Fortunately, his body tempering cultivation technique was not affected. Despite the continuous lightning bolts, his body was still growing stronger. Bang! When the last few lightning arcs fell on Ning Cheng's body, which had been badly mutilated by the thunder tribulation arcs, started to heal. Moreover, the healing speed was also getting faster and faster. Ning Cheng, who was lying on the ground, did not move. On one side was circulating his cultivation method to heal himself, while on the other side was using the body-forging cultivation method to recondense his body. At this moment, his cultivation was unable to rise, but his body had advanced to the level 7 god physique. The lightning tribulation dissipated, and the surroundings returned to their original state. Not knowing for how long, Ning Cheng finally opened his eyes and slowly sat up. The starry sky essence force rampaging through his body made him want to roar. His body, which had been torn apart by the thunder tribulation, had already disappeared without a trace. If not for his sparse and messy hair, which proved that he had just been struck by the thunder tribulation, Ning Cheng would have even suspected that he had just fallen asleep. After advancing to a rank 7 god body, even Ning Cheng felt that his body had become a bit too perfect. The perfect body of a body-refining cultivator was fully manifested at this time. His only regret was that his skin was a little pale, which was probably caused by excessive blood loss. As he continued to cultivate, he would slowly return to normal. As soon as Ning Cheng raised his hand, he felt as if he could grab everything around him at any time, whether it was tangible or intangible. This should be the manifestation of a full circle domain, Ning Cheng thought. When he was in the sea-opening realm, he already had a false domain. Although he did not have anyone to teach him, but under the continuous improvement of the mysterious yellow formless, his domain had almost reached perfection after he advanced to the plundering life realm. Now that his domain realm Thunder Tribulation and Nirvana Tribulation arrived at the same time, it might have seemed inconceivable to others, but Ning Cheng did not feel surprised. A full circle domain would attract a Nirvana Tribulation. Ning Cheng's understanding of domains far exceeded that of ordinary cultivators. Therefore, it was not surprising for him to advance to the domain realm to the full circle. It was the same as what Jing Wuming had said about the heritage. He already had enough of it. Unfortunately, such a good thing would not happen a second time. From now on, he would have to honestly absorb the starry sky essence qi and climb up step by step like an ordinary cultivator. Ning Cheng wanted to wash himself, change into a new set of clothes, and then check to see what level his cultivation had reached. Most importantly, he wanted to turn his maximal flame spiritual technique into a real spirit technique. After advancing to the celestial novice realm, Ning Cheng felt that he now had the ability to cast ordinary spirit techniques. Just at this moment, a ray of light shot over. This ray of light did not pause for even half a second before it landed on the broken meteorite where Ning Cheng was standing. Ning Cheng quickly put on his clothes as fast as he could before looking at the person who had arrived on the broken meteorite. This was a very beautiful young woman. She was wearing a light cyan skin-tight dress, which perfectly outlined her figure. Coupled with a pair of watery eyes, people could not help but want to get close to her. However, these were not the things that Ning Cheng cared about the most. What Ning Cheng cared about the most was the pair of silver wings behind this young woman. That ray of light from a moment ago should have come from that pair of silver wings. It reminded Ning Cheng of his twin wings of the heavenly clouds. Just as Ning Cheng's gaze fell on the pair of silver wings, the wings behind this young woman suddenly disappeared. Senior. Ning Cheng cupped his fists and greeted. This young woman's cultivation was higher than Lan Ye's. There were two faintly discernible celestial wheels behind her, indicating that she had a celestial gatherer cultivation. Thinking of the celestial wheels, Ning Cheng realized that after advancing to the celestial novice realm, he did not have any celestial wheels. Was there a problem with his cultivation method? Or was it because he had advanced too quickly? What a perfect body! The places that should be big are not small at all. It looks like you have a perfect body forging cultivation method. Not bad, not bad. Ning Cheng felt a little embarrassed when he heard the young woman's words. This young woman had apparently seen him before he put on his clothes. But when this young woman spoke about a perfect body forging cultivation method, Ning Cheng immediately turned vigilant. If I'm not mistaken, you should be called Ning Cheng, right? The young woman's eyes wandered around Ning Cheng's body without any scruples. Tung Hongquang really must have been blind to actually regard you as an early-stage plundering life realm cultivator. If I hadn't been here, and the surrounding nirvana tribulation aura had not dissipated, how could I have known that you had just crossed the nirvana tribulation? Who is senior? Ning Cheng raised his hand and grasped the nirvana spear in his hand, while staring at this young woman with a wary gaze. He had never seen this woman before, yet this woman actually knew that he was Ning Cheng. If this were the Yixing mainland, then it would have been a different story. After all, he was a well-known figure in the Yixing mainland. However, in this starry sky, he was not even a passerby. How could this woman know him? You used to hide in the Tier Immortal Cave, and our people had no way to drag you out. But now your luck is not good, and I Feng, met you while you were crossing the nirvana tribulation. If you hand over the cultivation method, I will give you a chance to live. That is, become my slave. Otherwise. As An Feng spoke till here, she stared at Ning Cheng with cold eyes, as if she was looking at a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. You are from the Ocean Gambling's premier casino. Ning Cheng suddenly sobered up. The Tung Hongquang that this woman called An Feng spoke of must be the brown-haired male cultivator called Deacon Tung. I heard that you are very cunning, but I can see that your reaction is also very slow. I will give you 3 breaths of time. 1. An Feng spoke with some disdain. Dream on. Ning Cheng clenched the nirvana spear and stared at An Feng. He knew that if he wanted to escape from this woman, it would be impossible. Then let's see if I'm dreaming or not. An Feng raised her hand and shot out dozens of silver lights, just like a pair of silver wings. The moment Ning Cheng saw An Feng move, he could no longer feel his own domain. The space that was originally under his control disappeared, and the dozens of silver lights suppressed his breathing. Although the silver lights looked simple, it made him feel a strong threat. Ning Cheng stabbed out with the nirvana spear in his hand, and the Nirvana spear once again brought back the lost space around him. The powerful spear intent transformed into one spear pattern after another. Bang bang bang. The silver lights bombarded Ning Cheng's spear pattern, causing Ning Cheng's spear pattern to instantly collapse. The powerful backlash force blasted Ning Cheng away, causing him to hit the edge of the huge pit where he had crossed the tribulation. Hey, what a powerful spear intent. A mere ant who just advanced to the celestial novice realm can actually block my declivity-gathering silver kill. I want to see how much you can block. After an iPhone finished speaking, her hands waved as if they were passing through flowers, and a continuous stream of silver lights shot towards Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng felt the space around him squeezing once again. This kind of binding force made it impossible for him to move, allowing the opposite party's silver lights to bombard him. At this time, he could no longer use the Nirvana spear to block these silver lights. Ning Cheng immediately brought out the everlasting Blue Thunder City. However, unlike the previous shadow, the everlasting Blue Thunder City now had a solid shadow. The lightning arcs became even more visible, and the edges of the Thunder City even had blue stones that could be touched. Boom boom boom. The dense declivity gathering silver killing lights fell on the everlasting Blue Thunder City like a hail. However, these declivity gathering silver killing lights that had blasted Ning Cheng away, without exception, were all blocked by the everlasting Blue Thunder City. In addition to the rumbling sounds, a variety of crackling sounds mixed with some of the chaotic lightning arcs from the Thunder City continued to descend. Ning Cheng finally felt the benefits of having a powerful spiritual consciousness. If it were before facing this kind of bombardment, his everlasting Blue Thunder City might have already collapsed. However, at this moment he could barely hold on. As for fighting back, he could forget about it. Good stuff. Enai Feng's eyes lit up, and her hands shot out even more declivity-gathering silver-killing lights. Ning Cheng could only barely hold on to the everlasting Blue Thunder City's shadow. Otherwise, the everlasting Blue Thunder City would dissipate. Once the Blue Thunder City dissipated, the horrifying declivity-gathering silver-killing lights would turn him into slag. The more Ning Cheng tried to block, the more shocked he became. The gap between him and this woman was just too big. If this woman did not stop, his spiritual consciousness would eventually be dragged down by the declivity-gathering silver-killing lights. Even his sea of consciousness might collapse. At this moment, he finally understood the huge gap between the Celestial Gatherer realm and the Celestial Novice realm. Enai Feng also felt shocked. She never thought that a puny Celestial Novice cultivator could persist for so long under her continuous declivity-gathering silver-killing lights. If this puny Celestial Novice cultivator advanced to the Celestial Gatherer realm, how could she still be his opponent? You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.